the one and only Big Sills. Yeah, that's the new open. How you doing? What do I see by Big Hater? No. The big truth teller. Happy Holy Week to all. This is the week of our Lord. And by the way, I'm like the guy in Full Metal Jacket. Are you trying to tell me you don't believe in the good Mother Mary? Are you telling me that? I'm going to smack the... Hey, are you trying to insult me? Happy Holy Week, man, to all. Man, there's just absolutely so much going on. I can't tell you enough. By the way, we are doing, instead of Wednesday, today, Big Sills mock draft number 2. Then we do the last 1 week of the draft. So we will have that a little bit later on in the program. Also today, the resident Philadelphia legend, the legendary Angelo Cataldi will join us at 4:30 Eastern. And then our NFL insider, yes, indeed, Jason Cole will join us at 5:30. Gotta say this to you, man. I was just telling Xander, there's certain guys in the world. Donald Trump made $6 billion today. I mean, he made $6 billion today on that True Social thing that I've never been on. Some guys have it. They touch something and it just turns to gold. It's incredible. He gets his fine reduced and now he's made $6 billion today with his stock that went public. And as you know, some of you do know, I used to be a stockbroker, and his IPO came out today, and it was supposed to be trading at 51, and now it's at $75. Okay? Absolutely incredible. Anyway, can I ask a question right out of the gate here? Why is Nick Sirianni at the NFL owner meetings representing the Eagles? Why? Stop talking. Why are the Eagles parading him out in public like that? Why are they doing that? He should not be the face of your franchise. I would much rather have Howie Roseman do that. At least there's a chance that guy's going to be around. So there's Nick's job. Resident mouthpiece. He doesn't really have a gig. So, this is where he's going to do all of his job description in the offseason, parading around as a guy pretending to be the head coach of the Eagles. Hey, you know what? If some of you have a problem with the 2020 election or the 2016 election, okay? The Eagles have a coach that, hey, that's not the coach. That's not the coach. He's a fraudulent coach. I dispute the election of Nick Sirianni being the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Good grief. I watched that guy answering questions. It was absolutely pathetic. Oh, hey, and then you got to love, what was some of the comments? We're going to be blending our ideas. I'm paraphrasing. Trump learned from on his USFL failure. He did put that team in the ground. He did. What is up, Mac? So wait a minute. Let me get this right. So Sirianni says that the blending of ideas. I heard our resident cheerleader on today, Bill Colarulo, talking about why he should have some say in the play calling. How many people believe he should have some say in the play calling? He should have some say. How many people believe that Nick Sirianni should have some say in the play calling? How many people want him part of it? How many people believe that? And you can hear people say, well, he's had success. No, he hasn't. Anytime that he has had control of the offense, when he was the play caller, when he first got the job, Xander, correct me if I'm wrong. Xander and I, when we first opened the show and Sirianni went 2-5, do you know what Xander said to me? Sills, you think this guy gets fired midway through the season? So as the play caller for the team, he was 2-5. And I've pointed this out to you before. He was 2-5. This last year, he kept going around touting that this was his offense. So he went, 11-6. So Nick Sirianni, with influence on the offense as a play caller designer, is 13-11 when the offensive playbook has been in his hand. And when people like Bill or anyone else say he should have a say, what success has he had when he has had direct overseeing of the offense? Steichen put that team in the Super Bowl. And you know what his reward was? Being named the head football coach of the Colts. When he left, Nick Sirianni was fighting for his job. Why would you want a guy who was on the hook for potentially being fired 2 months ago to have say in the offense? Why would you want that? He doesn't have one redeeming quality. As an offensive play caller, Nick Sirianni is a position coach parading as an NFL head coach. Okay? Mitchell, Sills, do you think them guys got to re-up on new Howie knee pads every year for their key fobs to work for the NovaCare Center? Mitchell, thank you. And he also reminds me here, Mitchell, that all of our great folks who have super chats all go to the front of the line. We thank you so much. Kyle just said it. It's a great take, Kyle. Shane Steichen was the biggest loss in 2023. He totally was, because Shane Steichen took the Eagle offense with him. He took the Eagle offense. Same players. What happened? He took the identity of the offense with him. Nick Sirianni he's not qualified. One, he's not qualified to be a head football coach. And secondly, he's not qualified to call plays. If Nick Sirianni was based on play calling, he's 13-11 in Philly. He's 13-11, and he's going around going, we're going to have, what is it? Blending of ideas. Dude, please don't bring any ideas to my table. I have no interest in your ideas. I have no interest. Sills, did Frank recommend Nick to get even for what they treated his friend Doug? Brian, look, Frank loves Nick Sirianni. And Sirianni loves Frank Reich. Okay? It's starting to look, now Frank went to work for David Tepper. Look who, I heard people saying, what has Frank Reich done? Frank Reich has worked with Jim Irsay and David Tepper. I'm sorry, bud, not really quality organizations. You think? You think? Remember when all you guys were fighting me, telling me back in the day that Nick Sirianni had say over the team? I know you guys are looking back on that one now going, damn, Sills, you were right. I mean, why in the world would you want him part of the offense? Blend of ideas. Guy, shut the you-know-what up. I don't want to hear any of your ideas. You have no ideas. Then he's talking about culture building. There's nothing he says that is truthful. He's not a culture builder. The culture was in the building. You don't really think Nick Sirianni added anything to the table I mean, why is he at the owners' meetings in Orlando talking? It's the same shit. Different city, different day. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Hey, some of you who say, Sills, new content. I'm trying. But they give you the same shit every day. It's the same. Wait, I'll take that back. It's the same shit, but it's a new day. This guy, I mean, I don't get it. That guy is going to be the reason. And I get this. So I don't know what to take of the Vegas stuff. Xander said this also a couple months, or was a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple days ago, he said this. Hey, Sills, maybe the Eagles do win 10 games. It's the NFC. Vegas has the Atlanta Falcons winning almost 11 games. Jesus, criminy. Kirk Cousins makes that much difference in the NFC South where they're going to look at Atlanta making a number at 10.5 wins? Really? Wow. Wow, does the NFC suck. Man, Atlanta? They got the Bears at 8.5. So maybe the Eagles, I still think they're a 7-win team because, and I hear people going over the schedule. I'm like, you have not upgraded your defense. You're only looking at half the side of the ball. Your defense is a little bit better because of Gardner Johnson. That's it. That's it. Blending of ideas for a coach who, when the offense is in his hands, is 13-11. Big Chris says the Eagles are a playoff team now when they were destroyed in the playoffs and did not upgrade their defense. Incredible. You know what else I heard? Where's that line? So, remember when I brought up Levante David and Jason Light, the general manager of the Eagles, of the Buccaneers, saying you can always count on Levante David, 13 years going strong. What a tremendous player. Here's why he gets a contract extension. He's such a staple on our team. Chris, where do you believe you upgraded the defense? You're getting rid of Reddick. Where's the upgrade? Here's James. James, by the way, you keep sending me this kind of money, James. You and me I already told Xander I'm going to ask you out on a date here. I think Nick should be given Sap's favorite nickname, Nostradamus, permanently and mute his kids. Ask Madden ideas. Just give him Sills branded pom-poms. Thank you, James. James, you keep this up. We're going to be dating. Okay? Levante David gets all the love. Here's what Todd Bowles said at the owners' meetings yesterday. CJ and Huff. Huff's not an upgrade. Not when you lose Reddick. It's a lateral move. That's not an upgrade. How do you know he's better than Reddick when he's only done it 1 year, Chris? And guess what? Howie admitted it yesterday when he was doing interviews that it's projection on Huff. That was his exact word. It's a projection on Bryce Huff. So he has no idea if it's an upgrade or not. And remember something. You gave a guy $17.8 million. Okay? $17.8 million to a guy who couldn't start in New York. Okay? He does not upgrade the defense when you lose Reddick. It's a lateral move with a guy you're not sure of. How is that an upgrade? Dude, he wasn't a starter in New York. How is that an upgrade when you're losing a starter? Tell me. Huff is an upgrade from Reddick. Huff didn't start in New York. Go watch his. He's not a starter. A guy who had 27 sacks in the last 2 years, 4 years in a row of double-digit sacks. And you're telling me you upgraded with Bryce Huff off of one season of a guy who played half the plays. My God almighty, have to be the dumbest people on the planet. Have to be the dumbest people on the planet. Anyone who thinks that. Anyone who thinks that. And here, watch this. Prince says White's an upgrade. No. Morrow and Zach Cunningham had higher ratings and grades than Devin White did a year ago. How's that an upgrade? How's that an upgrade? Let's look at what Chris just said. He brings 10 sacks. You lose 11 for a guy who doesn't start. Oh, you're going to find a way now to keep Reddick after you have abused him. Oh, my God. Well, let me get to what Todd Bowles said. Speaking of White, Prince, Todd Bowles was asked about Shaq Barrett going to the Dolphins. You know what he said? What a steal Miami's getting. Shaq Barrett is such a great person, such a great player, has a massive motor. Man, I wish him nothing but the best. And the Dolphins got a steal. So Jason Light is talking about Levante David with high regard. Todd Bowles doesn't even have Shaq Barrett. And they're giving him what a steal for the Dolphins. And you know what the Bucs say about Devin White? Good riddance. But there's your upgrade. The Bucs couldn't wait to get him out. The Bucs have not said one positive thing about Devin White. Nothing. Except he's lazy and he pouts. Funny. Todd Bowles was asked the question about Devin White, and he's like, well, good luck to the player. Asked about Shaq Barrett at the owner meetings. Man, the Dolphins got a steal. What a great football player. What a great person. The Bucs hated him. Hated his ways. Hated his attitude. And all he gives Eagle fans is a great press conference. And that's the only thing you're hanging on. Oh, and just like a lot of folks, even at my network, they like to give you revised history. Well, he was good 5 years ago. Whatever. They don't need a guy who was good 5 years ago. They need a guy who's going to be good now. Crazy. Todd Bowles talking about a guy who's no longer on his team with high regard. And Shaq Barrett. Actually, it's not a bunch of words. Oh, bunch of words, yes. Okay. Dennis goes like this. Can't believe we're still talking Devin White. That's because the Buccaneers are talking about other players that played the linebacker position that just got contract extensions, and one guy's now a Dolphin, and the Bucs hate Devin White. It's very evident. They thought he was a whiner and a bitch, and they wanted him gone. That's why they let him walk out the door. Congratulations. That's your linebacker. Todd Bowles is not a shit talker. Well, good luck to the player. Didn't even say his name. And good luck to the player. Then he was asked about Barrett. He goes, Shaq Barrett is unbelievable. What a great human. Absolutely. Okay? Unbelievable. 26 years old, 1-year deal could turn it around on a shitty defense that can't play the run. Okay. Man, you tell half the story. I love people who go like this. Well, Jalen Hurts was an MVP through week 11. Well, the last I looked, NFL plays 17 ball games, not half a season. Okay? I mean, honestly, that's trying to fit a narrative that fits your take. It's so easy to land on 22 for Eagle fans and even Eagle broadcasters. Instead of sitting there saying who you are today on March 26th. I can't believe you can't come to the realization of what you are and who you are. And again, this is not criticism. This is just, if criticism is telling you what you are and who you are, that's a you thing. My take on the offense, a lot of talent. Underperforming talent last year. You didn't play championship football, and everyone got their numbers. Do you want to know what even makes that even more absurd on how pathetic you were last year offensively? A.J. Brown, career year. Devontae, another 1,000-yard season. Career numbers in many places. DeAndre Swift had a Pro Bowl season, career year. Hurts threw for more touchdowns and more yards than he did the previous year and had more completions, career year. And you were 1-7. How'd that work? Well, all your talent. Oh, the play calling. Okay. All Brian Johnson's fault. We'll find out. I don't believe that. I think Hurts is not good enough. I think the league's caught up with him. And when you took the RPO out, he'll never win a game that matters without running. If he doesn't run, you're not winning. He's not good enough in the pocket. What made him good in the pocket in 22 was his diversity in being able to run. Since you took that element away, he's not going to be better in the pocket. That's why Alabama benched him. Tua was better in the pocket. That hasn't changed. He wasn't developed last year, according to you, because the coordinator sucked. 2023 was a waste of a developmental year for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is more between 2023 and 2021 quarterback. He's in there without the RPOs. Okay? Without the RPOs. And then you got a coach who's in Orlando. Okay? Then you got a coach in Orlando saying we're going to mesh our ideas. As bad as, here's James Carr. James, telling you one more, man. I'm going to text you my phone number. Not saying it for sure, but Burks is probably best upgrade for defense outside GJ, given his 49er play in the Super Bowl after Greenlaw. And yes, his historical play. The Burks kid did play well in the Super Bowl. At Vandy pushed my Auburn Tigers almost out of the Natty chase. Let's see. Burks didn't play that poorly when he did come in, James. Big Marshall, how you doing? Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much. You got, hey, all super chats, you guys are fantastic. Thank you. Steve goes, more will fix Hurts. Okay, hey. Talking about a guy who's been fired 2 years in a row. Okay. Steve, you got a lot of faith in a guy who's been canned 2 years in a row. Okay. Sure. You're being positive. There's no reason not to be. There's no reason not to be that Kellen Moore is going to be an upgrade. I give that to you. Okay? I do. I give that to you. Okay? I do. Still's the new GM of the Eagles. First order, Howie to the broom closet and keep his beak out of football business and more into the books. Mitchell, that's right. He's a bookworm. Okay? He's a bookworm. I mean, he's a glorified GM librarian. There's Xander. So you don't get calls. Yo, what do you need to see from Jalen Carter and Davis to solidify them as extension worthy? Great question. I'm going to get to my mock draft here in a minute. You want me to help? Hey, do you want me to tell you what I told Clint Hurt about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? I played next to Jerome Brown, and we had the best defensive tackle tandem in college football for 2 years. Do you want me to tell you how you fix this and how you fix Jordan Davis? Okay, flexing. Don't play him on third down. Play him like Vince Wilfork. Play him for who he is. Play him on first and second down. Put him in a position of success. Bring Milton in on third down. It'll improve your run game, in my opinion. Won't be as many reps. Okay? He may play half the plays, a little over half the plays, but when he's in there, he'll be healthy, he'll be rested, and he'll be formidable. What happened with the Eagles was they got blown away by the fact that he was showing signs of being a pass rusher early in the season, and it wore him out. He's also got – I wouldn't want him to lose weight. I don't want you to lose weight. You got to define his role. The Eagles haven't defined his role. Put him in there on first and second down. Dude, first and second down early in the season, he'll be a force. And what I would do with Jalen Carter, play him in that 3 technique. Do not have him do anything with 2-gapping. And I don't care if my linebackers get killed in the run because he's going to make the difference up. Do you know what Jerome used to do? He used to run around blocks and make plays in the backfield. The success of the Eagles this coming season will be in the front 4, not the linebacking core. But see, this is where Vic is going to have to be better, and he's going to have to be better than he was a year ago in Miami. That linebacking core is not – you see, Patricia started having those 2 tackles 2-gap. They're not 2-gappers. They weren't 2-gappers at Georgia. They were 31 tackles. One played a 3, one played a 1, one played a shade 1, one played a tilt 2. Go back and watch him at Georgia. They've completely played Jordan Davis out of position the 2 years he's been in Philly. They're asking him to do shit he's not capable of doing for a long stretch of games. He never did that at Georgia. Never did that at Georgia. Okay? James says, makes sense. I thought you wanted him to be a nose, which is why I asked about the 2-gap. He doesn't want a 2-gap. He doesn't want a 2-gap. He's not Vita Vea. And one thing we've learned about Jordan Davis, he gets worn out by the end of the year. Well, why would you play him all those reps early in the season then? I need Jordan Davis at the beginning of the season in 23, at the end of the year. I'd rather have him suck in the beginning of the season and play like he did at the front end of the year, at the back end when I need him the most, when I'm chasing down home field advantage. Why do the Eagle fans ignore that Dallas offense and Dak were better without more? They're ignoring facts. You rock, Seals. Thank you, 304. Because they don't want to. And I get it too, 304. It's because Eagle fans can't stand anything positive that the Cowboys have done. Dak was better without Kellen Moore last year by far. That's why he's in line for a $60 million raise. He wasn't in line for a $60 million raise when Kellen Moore was there. he is now. Okay? Last year, did not know how to utilize Davis, but Fangio would be able to utilize Davis this year. Possibly. Okay? Possibly. Sills, if Howie would embrace his ability to scout other teams for available talent and use that skill to scout for younger coaching talent, this team would thrive. Ego keeps him working the draft. Yes. Everything you said there, Bob. Yes. Bob, that's a great take. And it's a fair take. What, Bob, you want to hear this? Watch this. If Howie would embrace his ability to scout other teams, A+. A+. And use that skill to scout for young coaching talent. Correct. By the way, Howie Roseman didn't find Shane Steichen. Frank Reich recommended him. Shane Steichen was Frank's offensive coordinator in Indianapolis. Howie is taking bows for thinking he found Shane. It's not true. Shane Steichen was the receiver coach in San Diego when I was there. He's been with Frank almost everywhere. It's a bull-faced lie. That guy takes more bows for shit he hasn't done than anyone I've ever seen. That wasn't a recommendation. Let me go find shit. Where the hell did he get him from? Frank. Frank recommended Sirianni. Absolutely, he did. Yes. Twiz, he did. Hey, Twiz, not everybody has the belief I have. Some of you think he's a great coach. Cosmo says, Sills, remember Davis chasing down Allen? You bet. One of the greatest big man plays I've ever seen. But I don't need those kind of plays out of him. I need him to play 50 plays a game, balls to the wall on first and second down, stop that run, don't let the guys get up on the backers, and be a force in the middle against the run. That's what I need him to be. Chasing Allen down, great, but he's not playing on third down. I'm not playing him on third down. You know why? He hurts the team. His role, in my eyes, his role has been defined. Like I've been saying, I'm not judging any players right now. Look, they said Morrow and Zach were good because they were ranked high. I want to see it first. It's hard to judge in March. Prince goes like, well, Prince, you want to wait and see if a guy changes his resume. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt when he doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. We're not talking about 1 year, Prince. We're talking about 5 years of football, 6 years of football. You're throwing all of that away on a hunch he might be good. Okay? Seals, you were fired and doing great. I wasn't fired because I sucked. I was fired because I said something. There's a difference. Hey, senor, I wasn't fired ever in my life because I sucked. In sports radio, in sports broadcasting, I've never been fired because I sucked. So Moore got fired because he sucked. Dak led the NFL in turnovers. They fired him. And in Los Angeles, Harbaugh didn't want to keep him. They hired another coordinator, and they fired him. I don't know. You tell me. I have never been fired in broadcasting because I sucked. That's never been the case in my entire 34-year career. Ever. He's been fired because he sucked. So let's get that right. Maybe Moore and MM did not get along. No, I thought McCarthy and him got along well. He didn't do that poorly, Moore with Dak. I hate defending Moore since he was calling plays for Dallas. But let us wait and see on Moore. Senor. Yeah. Okay. Nolan Smith can stop the run. Kid has outstanding speed to get around the tackle. Martin, he sucked last year. And no, he can't play the run. He couldn't get on the football field when they needed players to get on the field. Stop making something up that's not true. Seals, you played at scheme, bro. Certain schemes fit certain players. Correct. 100%. 100%. 100% true. Jalen Hurts had record stats this year with Brian Johnson, and they went 1-7. Sills, what would you do with Davis? I wouldn't play him on third down. We kind of just broached that a bit. I told Clint Hurt this. He's not a third down guy. You may get caught out there with him, in certain situations, but he's not a nickel tackle. He doesn't have the stamina. He's a big kid. He's a very athletic kid. He's one of the most athletic guys I've ever seen for that size. But that's not translating into him being an every down player for 17 weeks. It was a Herculean effort what Josh Sweat did last year, the amount of plays he played. My God almighty, Jordan Davis, by the end of the year, he hit a rookie wall. You even heard Brian Baldinger going, why are the Eagles even dressing him? It was embarrassing. That's right, Chris. And you know what? I think they would benefit from it. By the way, I think it would improve his game. Hey, look, if you could take Vita Vea off the field like the Bucs do, you could take Jordan Davis off the field. Vita Vea is 10 times the player he is. And Todd Bowles knows he needs him to be a run gap stopper. And when he's in the game, the Bucs defense is different. Davis, my only thing with him is, can he be that kind of player still? Because the Eagles haven't defined him yet. See, the Eagles thought that they got Fletcher Cox because they saw his work at the combines. I love that Marvin Harrison's not working out for anybody. He said, no, my tape's good enough. You know how much that's aggravating NFL teams? He's like, I'm not running for anybody. I'm not working out for anybody. I'm not going to any pro day. My tape ain't good enough, then guess what? I'm not going to a gymnasium so you can tell me if I'm good or bad and judge me. You're going to draft me on what I did in college as a ball player, not as a weightlifter at Gold's Gym. He's so right. Marvin Harrison hasn't worked out for anybody. Didn't work out at the combines. Didn't work out at pro day. Didn't have an individual workout. He said, screw that. The father said, you're a ball player. You're not a gym rat with that kind of stuff. Don't let them gauge you or downgrade you because you don't have a great vertical. Who cares? Jerry Rice ran a 4.8. He ran a 4.8 on his pro day. I think we're at the combines. You know what Bill Walsh said? Watch his film. This guy's got hands like I've never seen. They were down for the combines, and Jerry Rice out of Mississippi Valley State ran a 4.8. They were recruiting a guy named Rooster Jones from Pitt. And Bill Walsh goes like this. I don't know. He saw Rice and went, damn. You know what the scouts with the 49ers said, all the analytic guys? Hey, Billy runs a 4.8. He goes, I don't care. And they drafted him. Does anybody ever remember Jerry Rice getting caught from behind when he caught a pass breaking into the end zone for the most touchdowns in NFL history? Or having the most receiving yards in the history of the league? Or being the greatest offensive weapon the National Football League has ever seen? Rice is the greatest offensive weapon in pro football history, not in quarterback. No one's close. The touchdowns, the yards. And you have to put this all in perspective. He touched the ball 4 times a game. Think about that. As an average over his 20-plus year career, he averaged 4 touches a game. And he did all that damage in the league with 4 touches a game. All-time receiving, all-time touchdowns. No one's close. Insane. Chris, 4.8 when Rice was on the field? Dude, I ran a 4.8, Chris. I never saw Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice looked like he ran 4.4s to me. There's football speed, and then there's track speed. And that's what Marvin Harrison Sr. told his kid. Don't run. But see, the Eagles fall in love with that shit like they did with Nolan's. The Eagles have a problem in their analytics department in college scouting. And you know what the examples are? Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith. They saw those guys at the combines, and they fell in love with their workout instead of falling in love with their production. It's a fact. Remember what I told you with Jordan Davis? He had 9 sacks in 4 years at Georgia. I had 9 sacks in 1 year. He had like 60 or like 50 some odd. I had 100 tackles in 1 year. And this guy had like 50 or 40 something for a career. That's not production. That's not being productive. I mean, your game film matters more than the combines. I think the combines are a joke. I really do. You know what the combines are set up for? Kids who you don't watch in bigger programs. Guys you don't really keep a focus on because most of the TV networks are watching Colorado or Michigan or Alabama and Georgia or LSU. And you're not really watching Iowa, or you're not watching Nebraska or Washington State, or you're not watching Oregon State. And there's a kid there that it helps because it opens people's eyes. But the big programs like Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, those combines don't help you. They hurt you because the organizations in the league use those against you when it comes to your draft status. And there's guys like Howie, who's not a football guy. You don't draft Jordan Davis at 13. Like I said to you before, and I said this to you before, I still think he's a first rounder. I don't have a problem with the pick. I have a problem with the way they're using him and what they think of him. He's a first and second down guy. I told Clint Hurt this 2 nights ago. He can't play on third down. There's going to have to be a rotation for him to be successful. If you play him 3 downs, he'll be out of gas by week 10 again. It's just innate in him. He's not going to be able to give you a full year. The Buccaneers know how to use Vita Vea. Why don't the Eagles understand that? Because you know why? Their analytics guy versus Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is a football man. The analytics people in Philadelphia have a lot to say with the draft and free agency. Steve goes, Jesus, what am I? Sills, this is only 3 years. Give the man the benefit. No. I saw a kid. Can somebody tell me what that kid's name is in Los Angeles that they drafted in the 3rd round from Wake Forest? What's his name? Kobe Walker? He's already 10 times better than Jordan Davis. He's already 10 times better than him. Is that his name, Kobe Walker? That kid that was at Wake Forest? He's already better. I don't need 3 years. I saw the kid play this year, and he was right there with Aaron Donald. Playing the run, getting off the block. Is it Walker? Kobe Walker, right? Watch him play the run. Watch him play the pass. Shit, you needed to watch was 3 games with that guy. Prince says Jordan Davis's problem is his weight. I think some of that, but I also happen to think it's how they use him. Dude, they got that kid in the 3rd round, and he's already better than Jordan Davis. Tell me, man, you know when you see it. Mozzie Smith will never be a good football player. You know why? He doesn't have any feet. You know why Jordan Davis has a chance to still be good? You know why? No. If Jordan Davis is going to be good, it's not going to be because of Vic Fangio. It's going to be because of Clint Hurt. Let's get that right. Okay? Let's get that right. It'll be because of Clint. Do you know why Jordan Davis has a chance to be good? He's got exceptional feet. He's got soft feet. He got great, quick feet. Yes, that's right, Kyle. You could do magical things with guys with great feet. When you don't have good feet like Mozzie Smith, you have no chance to play in the National Football League. If you're not quick on your toes, you have no shot at being good. Like Mozzie Smith plays defensive tackle and nose guard like he's an offensive guard. And offensive guards have great feet. I would even make the comment that offensive guards have some of the greatest feet next to even wide receivers. You know why? Because of all the traffic that's inside. Think about all the traffic you got. You got 300-pound men, all those guys in there. You got to pick your feet up all the time. You got to have exceptional feet when you're an offensive guard, especially the center position when you got all those bodies around you. Let's see here. So I'm gonna get to my mock draft too. Did you see him the first 4 games last year? Jordan Davis played. Steve, I didn't think Jordan Davis played well at all in the first 4 games. I thought he was exceptional, but they wore him out. That's why you don't play him on 3rd down. Play him on 1st and 2nd down. Okay? Play him on 2nd down, 1st and 2nd down, and then put Milton in there on 3rd down. That's what I see. Sills, would you trade for J.C. Horn? Let's see after the draft. Trading now doesn't make sense. Kyle, what you do is when you're looking for a trade, you wait till after June 1 because some guys may get whacked. Coaches did not play to his strength. Well, 2 years, man. 2 years. Something's got to change. All right, let's get into the mock draft too. And I've made one trade in this one. I'm still hanging with one of my guys, Chop Robinson from Penn State, but I have added a new name at 22 here. There's a part of me even thinking this. So before I get into this, if you're Howie and you're at 22 and Kool-Aid is still on the board, would you trade down to 27? Draft Kool-Aid at 27 and pick up a 2nd and 3rd rounder for you moving down like that, and you would pick up the 35th pick if you move down to 27. So it would almost be like a first-round pick because 32 teams, obviously. So it would almost, you'd be at the top of the second. So you trade down to 27 if Kool-Aid's there. Or if some of those edge guys are there, or like Xander says, an OT. There's about 14, get this, guys. There's about 14 offensive tackles that could go in the first 45 picks. That's how deep it is. Probably 45. I would say this. Impact players in this draft this year. Last year, there was 5. This year, five. Most of them are receivers. But it's going to depend where these receivers go. Sills, I think the players complained about the coaching staff, hence the team cleaning house and hiring new coaches and with more experience. Prince, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Prince, I don't even know if you had to really hear the players complaining about it. Just looking at the results at the end of the season. Okay? Okay? I mean, 22 depends on Reddick's status. That could be, Chris. I don't believe they're going to get rid of Reddick until the day of the draft. Howie may be trying to do that like he did on draft day, doing something on draft day with Reddick. Okay? Like, there's some good edge rushers, but to Reddick's ability, I don't know. Here I'm going to give you here's my, as a matter of fact, you know what? We're at the top of the hour here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until the top of the hour. We'll do it at the top of the hour. Okay? Okay? Sills, I think Kool-Aid won't get drafted till at least Green Bay picks. That's down to 25. I think he could be down there near 30. I think Buffalo, because Buffalo needs some secondary help. I mean, because of the cap issues they had to cut 6 guys, and most of them were on defense. How can Kool-Aid be a red flag when he covered some of the greatest wide receivers in the country? And he was a All-American 2 years in a row. I'm not sure I agree with that. Either trade back and take Kool-Aid since he's most ready now, but lacks top gear. Okay? Take Wiggins at 22 and Cooper in the second. It's good thinking, James. Thank you again. Tell you what, James, I'm going to send you a love letter because I can't thank you how I appreciate you supporting the show the way you do. Thank you, sir. It's an honor. I like that, James, though. Trade back, corner. You're preparing for next year to lose one of your corners while putting some more depth back there. And then you draft Wiggins also. And then you get Cooper in the second. At the top there with 35 if you trade down. This DT from the Broncos any good? I think how long was he in Denver? Okay. How long was he in Denver? Because I'd like to know if he was there when Fangio was there. So that would have to be that he had to be up there, 4 years ago? So maybe Vic knows him, and that's why he's there. Some good corners in this draft? I think so. I think there's some decent corners in this draft. You know? I heard that. You heard what? I like your take, Sills, trading down and getting another pick in the second. Yeah, because you don't have a third. And I'd like to get another 2 and a 3. I'd like to get another 3rd and a 3. Okay? Because they don't have a 3. Stills, my concern with Wiggins is weight. Awful light, 178. Hey, Dan, what's your thoughts on Trey Benson? I'm gonna get to the personnel here in a minute. I promise you, okay, James? Package Bradbury and Gainwell. Dude, a Big Sarge, Bradbury and Gainwell, one, it's money with Bradbury and his salary and the cap hits, and Gainwell, this infamous love affair that only the Eagles have, that's not value to Arizona. Retain Reddick and draft a corner early. You're giving guys one who's an anchor around an organization. Sarge, Bradbury's contract makes him untradeable, and his cap hit makes him untradeable. You're not going to do anything with Bradbury until next year, or you're either going to eat the deal. And who wants to eat the deal? Bring him back. See what he can do. I'd bring him back because, hey, I'd bring him back because of the contract and because he seems to have a pattern of playing great every other year. Okay? Yeah, Kenny Gainwell is a nobody. You put Kenny Gainwell in Carolina, he's worse than Miles Sanders. Okay? Stills, I like the kid. Barswell. He's sliding in the draft for some reason. That's a good thing because if he's in the second, I like him too. He's an edge guy that could also play outside. Yeah, Wiggins was light. He was like just really light at the combines. Man, that's a little dude. Hey, so let me ask you this, James. You think a guy 184 pounds can cover A.J. Brown? I don't care how talented he is. You know what I'm saying? You think a guy 185 pounds could cover even Devontae Smith? I don't know. That's a little light. I don't think so. Feels like, Bradbury bounces back because of Gardner Johnson's return. Stevens, that's what I think the Eagles are thinking and why they brought him back as well. Yeah, Cameron Kitchens, Dion, I love the kid. You know, he's asked me a lot of questions. Mario had him call me, and I talked to him. You know, he tells me that he just wants to play anywhere. He'd really like to stay on the East Coast. He'd like to stay in the Southeast. It's always a dream. Hey, one of the things, the reason that I enjoyed and the reason I kind of picked and I made it so, I had a chance to go to Pittsburgh. They wanted to get this. When I was a supplemental guy, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Giants, the Patriots. I have a letter that the Patriots sent me that they were going to draft me in the first round. I didn't go work out for any of these teams because I wanted to stay in Florida. And it was the biggest mistake of my career. I should have went to Pittsburgh. Steelers wanted me. And Green Bay, they had Dick Mogilewski up there who was on the defensive line with Robustelli. And he was the D-line coach. I should have went to Green Bay and I got better coaching. It was a terrible mistake. Okay? Terrible mistake to do that. He's a natural one. Dude, 170's tiny. And especially in a game today, James, where you got these gigantic receivers, and now with these new rule changes that you can't get guys on the ground. I don't think you could be 170 pounds and just hold on for dear life with some of these big-time receivers. Weiner's drafting P. Diddy as per ESPN's Mo Lester. P. Diddy. He's going to be serving time in the Pokey, LJ, with R. Kelly pretty soon. Him and R. Kelly, man, are going to be doing a barbershop duet pretty soon. You know what it's going to be called? Don't Drop the Soap. How you doing? They're going to be singing a doo-wop. Okay? They're gonna be singing a barbershop doo-wop. Don't drop the soap. How you doing? Hey now. Sales, who's the corner Washington drafted in the first round last year? Who was that guy they drafted last year? Oh, forget his name. How you doing? All right, I got to take a timeout. We're going to come back and do the Big Sales mock draft number 2. Then we'll do the third one the week of the draft. I'm still high on Chop Robinson. I got another name, though, for my mock draft number 2. We'll do that next. Don't forget, Angelo Cataldi will join us at 4:30 Eastern. Jason Cole at 5:30 Eastern. Our resident Yahoo Sports NFL Insider. All coming up. Please hit the like button. And also don't forget our great friends at Underdog Fantasy. March Madness is here, folks. And do me a favor. We are loving it that people are signing up. Our loyal viewers and subscribers. Look, guys, $10. They match it all the way up to a C note, $100, $20, $20, $30, all the way. We appreciate it for March Madness. Remember, Underdog will match it all the way up to $100. The promo code is WIN, W-I-N. That is W-I-N. Before I take a timeout, I have to hit James. No, I was saying it was 170 at the combine for someone, I think. Then now back to 184, but must get to 200 to succeed in the NFL. All season, Dean, draft, and fail. Probably right, James. Can't be 184 in the National Football League. Cannot be 180. Cannot. Hour number 2 coming up. NFL Draft mock number 2 for Big Sills. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything. Everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Isn't it funny how people look at Josh Allen And they think Jalen's a better winner, and he's not. I mean, this guy's got, in 93 games, he's got a 677 win percentage. I mean, Hurts in 51 games has the same. And this guy leads the NFL in turnovers every year. How's that possible? And he finishes second or third in the MVP voting every year. And he's won 4 straight division titles. Yeah, well, Ty, when you're in the AFC, you're in a better conference. You have to play better quarterbacks. You have Patrick Mahomes in that conference. You have Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy. You don't have anybody of any significance outside of Stafford. And he's got it under 500 record. You make it sound, hey, the Atlanta Falcons are favored to win as many games as you this year because of the addition of Kirk Cousins. That's all you need to know about the NFC. It's not that hard to win it. It's not that hard to win it. I mean, this guy's almost played double the games. And he's got a 700 win percentage. He sucks. Well, when you got Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow in that conference, it's going to be a little difficult to get through that gauntlet of players versus Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, and whomever. Give me a break. We'll see. Remember something. Allen's played great his entire career. Hurts has had one season of really good ball. The rest of it is spotty. You know, I heard Bill say, look at his first 3 years. First year was nothing special. He was the caboose on that team. Second year, he was the engine. Third year, he fell apart. Tell the whole story, not half of it. Well, he was an MVP all the way to week 10. So what? So was Dak. So was Dak Prescott. Give me a break. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm gonna throw this number at you here before we get into mock draft number 2. Okay? Here we go. So again, how many touches is Saquon Barkley going to get per game this year? Brandon goes to Jalen Rush for the final TD against the Bills to win the game. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember that one too. I forgot because it got clouded in the Buck game or the Seahawks game or the Giants game. I don't remember. I think he did. Yeah, I think Allen had 500 total yards in that game by himself. Yeah, I forgot that. That's right. Yeah, he had 500 yards in overtime in total offense. Right. Look at what Steven says. 25 is nuts. 15 to 22. Look at Stevens, 20 to 25. 15 to 20. But look at this. Fitness goes and still lost. Well, don't bring up the fact that he played good in the Super Bowl against Mahomes. He still lost. Did Allen ever beat Mahomes and reach a Super Bowl? No, but Jimmy Garoppolo did. He reached the Super Bowl. Barkley should get around 15 to 20. Okay. So some of yours, what are we going to land on? Xander, what are we going to land on here? 20? 20? 20 touches? 25 touches a game? Okay. Niner, Jimmy G was great in New England and in San Francisco. Went to an NFC title game. He did exactly what Hurts did. Was in the MVP conversation, won a game, and won an NFC title. There's nothing wrong with that. 20 touches. Okay. In the last decade of football, there's only 3 running backs that have averaged 25 touches a game. DeMarco Murray in 2014, Le'Veon Bell in 17, and Christian McCaffrey in 2019, not 23. So you're trying to tell me you're going to give Saquon Barkley, who's injury prone, the ball 20 to 25 times a game. And he's going to duplicate the numbers of players that you've had, and he's an upgrade. I can't wait to see this thing because I don't believe it. And Howie could say all he wants. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done this. For him to get 20 touches a game, I don't believe it. 25 touches, there's only 3 players. You want to hear this? There's only 6 players with 20 in the last 10 years. So as an average, he's not going to get 20 touches a game over 17. I don't believe that guy plays 17 games. Okay? A-Track goes McCaffrey's overrated in fumbles. And Barkley's underachieving and gets hurt. That's a fact. Not an opinion. Barkley will get 10 to 15 touches a game. Okay. Well, he ain't getting 1,200 rushing yards then on 10 carries. He's not averaging 12 yards a carry. How's he doing this? He's going to average 10 yards a carry. That's what you're saying? If he gets 10 carries a game or 10 touches, counting receiving, he'll never touch 1,000 yards. And all you have to do is average 61 yards a game rushing and you got 1,000 yards. But that's not an upgrade. That's not an upgrade. Once again, Sanders averaged, what did he say? 17 touches a game for us. Okay? That was strictly running the ball. He's going to catch the ball too, right? I'm telling you, there's not enough mouths to feed in that offense. I mean, there's too many mouths to feed in that offense. You guys are crazy if you think they're going to implement him when Jalen can't even find a third wideout and has struggles getting it to the tight end. He's not that good at scanning the players on the field and finding the open guy. He proved that last year, and he proved it the year before. Dude, guys, where are you seeing this? That Barkley is going to be automatically implemented into an offense, and he's going to get 20 touches a game, 18 touches a game, when Hurts can't find Goddard. Barkley has one of the lowest yards after contact, even when first contact was 5 yards greater, pass or run. James, they think he's better than he is, and I don't think he is. I think he's a really good ball player. I don't think he's exceptional. I'm with John McMullen. I don't see exceptional. I don't see exceptional like Howie does. I don't see it. Okay? I see a really good ball player. Not denying that. I hope less touches keeps him fresh for the playoff, Sills. Now you're playing championship football, Spin. Spin. If Saquon Barkley gets 900 yards rushing and say 450, 500 receiving with 60 catches, and he's fresh for the playoffs, and he goes shit wild in the playoffs, it was well worth it. But if you run him during the regular season, like fans want to run him, he'll never make it to that. He is not durable. This is not an opinion. He's not a durable back. And I hear people go, well, some people wanted I didn't want DeAndre back. I thought that was an anomaly that guy played 17 games. Guarantee you he goes to Chicago and gets hurt because of the lack of talent in the O-line. I don't know. I don't think that. I think Swift is more elusive than Barkley. I wouldn't say that. But I think DeAndre Swift's a really good ball player. Is Barkley better than him? So you think Barkley's going to get over 1,100 yards rushing and over 250 yards receiving? Okay. He hasn't done it the last 4 years. I want to see it. So should you want to see it. Coming from a dude still has the least in the NFC East. 35 points is usually enough to win any game. Well, not when you're surrendering the points that they're going to surrender still on defense. Sills will shit him every week if he's those numbers. Yeah, because it's not an upgrade. But I just told you this. He'll shut my face if he goes off in the postseason. Let me tell you something. If he comes in anything less than 1,200 yards this year, it was not worth the investment. It was not worth it. Okay, James, appreciate it. Let's get to the draft. My mock draft number 2. We'll do another one week of. I'm just going to, hey, one more point here. You guys are high if you think they're going to give him 20 touches a game. A.J. Owens will go he'll go crazy. He'll go crazy. Go crazy. If that happens. 28. Like Keith Byers said, okay? Sills is all about content. I don't sweat it anymore. Prince, I'm not giving you content. I'm giving you reality on what he's done and who he is and how you think they're going to spread the football out. You really think they're going to take, hey, listen, everyone's going to have to be open for Saquon Barkley to get 20 touches in the game? Like Keith Byers said this. 4 less targets for AJ, 4 less targets for Goddard, 4 less targets for Devontae to make up for that. You think all those guys are going to be happy when Devontae Smith has got a contract coming up? You think his agent's not going to be in his ear? Hey, they're going to take targets away from you in a contract year. Really? Are you okay with that? That hurts his money. But Devontae will probably be a good dude. Okay? He'll be a great teammate because he is. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC. Not happening. Your defense sucks. Whatever, A-Track. Look at what A-Track just said. He thinks that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC with one upgrade on their defense. Gardner Johnson. That's it. And they were destroyed in the last 8 games of the season. Only blind and dumb people see that. You are not looking at reality. You've done nothing on defense, guy. Nothing. And when you dumping Reddick, you made a lateral move with Huff. Dude, you're dumb to say that. You were being killed by the Giants in a 4-win Cardinal team and then destroyed by the Bucs. And you're telling me that you think they have upgraded their defense to where they're competitive. How ridiculous is that? You can't look at what A-Track's saying. I'm a dumb analyst because I pointed out the facts. He's pointing out fantasy. He's in fantasy. He's in fantasy island here about that defense. The guy's high. If we keep Reddick, you better change your tune. No, two dudes that can't play to run. Couldn't play it run last year. So you add another guy who can't play to run. Congratulations to you. Let's find out, guy. Reddick's 11 sacks meant nothing last year. Meant nothing. Meant nothing. Hey, what about those 11? Hey, isn't it funny? Everyone had really great years on the Eagles except the Eagles themselves. You didn't play championship football at all last year. That's right, 5-star. Facts are based on last year and what you are until you go out and prove it again. Not 2 years ago, in 22. LJ goes, the run defense wasn't all that bad, and yet in the last 8 games, they gave up 139 yards a game. And he says that's not bad. Really? Okay. I disagree. When you're giving up 7 yards a carry. Okay? And you can't score 10 points against the Bucs. The Bucs. Baker Mayfield should write and send love letters to the Eagles and Howie for his $100 million contract. Hey, LJ goes, teams don't run to win. And that's why the Eagles didn't. This is where I disagree. Your team has to run. When they don't run, they lose. He proves the point. He's wrong. Because when the Eagles stopped running, they lost. They were throwing the ball. Everyone got their numbers. But when they stopped running it and stopped handing it to the running backs and stopped Hurts from running it, they went 1-7. So what he says is wrong. Teams don't run it to win it. The Eagles do. And when they stopped running it, they lost. And that's what their record says, 1-7. Okay? You couldn't run the ball and you couldn't stop the run. Those are facts. Why are you denying the facts? Look at 11-17. You were dead on. You've got to create balance. The Eagles had no balance last year. That is so right. You have to have balance. Stills 20 touches per game. Is Barkley, his 340 touches divided by 1150 plays for the season is only 30% of the touches. That leaves 30% for A.J. Owens easily. Well, what about Devontae? You got to divide that other 30 then, right? For the other, where's Goddard's numbers? Where's wide receiver 3? Are you dividing the other 30? Where's all these percentage? How are you involving everybody on the offense like Keith said? Okay? Look at A-Track. A-Track doesn't like the truth, so he calls you a liar. Sounds like people at MSNBC. You don't like what you hear? Call him a racist or a liar. Isn't that how it works, dude? Says always preaches team balance on both sides of the ball and as a whole. 11-17. You don't have to be exceptional at both skill sets. You have to be functional at those skill sets. Correct. You don't have to be the greatest pass defense in the league. And you don't have to be the greatest run defense in the league. But you got to be good and have a good skill set at both. Senor goes, look at what Senor said just now. Eagles offense goes through A.J. Owens, Devontae, and Barkley. Okay, well, you just made it easy for me to defend. Goddard's a non-factor, wide receiver 3. You're basically going 10 versus 11 going into a game. So I tell my defensive guys, hey, do me a favor, guys. Make sure you cheat over to Owens and make sure you keep an eye and keep Devontae towards the sidelines. Don't let him get inside the numbers because he's really good at press and release on getting inside. Press him outside. Keep him squeezed to the sidelines. They're not going to go across the middle of the field because why? Then you got to think about Barkley. Here's what you do to Barkley. Every time that guy touches the ball, hit that guy as hard as you possibly can and double. One guy hit him, next guy hit him. One guy hit him, 3 guys hit him. That guy will not last. Very easy defense. And what you do is you keep a backer in on Barkley. It's not that difficult. And, Hurts is not going to run. Remember something. The key component to this is the fact that you won't let Hurts run anymore. All that stuff would open up if Hurts was running again. Because then I got to defend the most dangerous guy on the field. The guy's wheels at the quarterback. If you brought that back in, there's a chance you'd get back to the Super Bowl. He doesn't run the ball, you have no shot. You have no shot. Okay? Look at LJ telling you once again, half the game, half the story. I don't give a shit about the first 9 games of the season. Your team fell apart. You were horrific at the end of the season. You were the worst team in the NFL on 3rd down. You were the worst team in the NFL on 1st down defensively. He's talking to me about 9 games. This is a 17-game season. You got out of the gate. You had good matchups. Once you got exposed, you were crushed. There's one football under Sirianni. Under Sirianni Hurts. They regularly failed to incorporate the tight end. Even Goddard bitched about it. In RB1, this won't magically change. Under Moore, you're dead on, nasty. That's not changing. Moore's not all of a sudden going to implement tight end plays and take away from Barkley, Owens, or Brown, whatever, and Devontae Smith. Hurts wasn't 100%. Now you're going to make up bullshit lies. He wasn't 100%. When are you going to... Bad coordinator. He was hurt. What's next? His feelings were hurt too? Holy shit, you pay this guy $255 million. Stop with your bullshit. Stop with that. I don't give a shit about coordinators or injuries. Everyone plays hurt. And when you're making $50 million, I heard Bill say this. Hey, you know what? Oh, I see. You can't, when he's not doing well, you blame him. When he does well, you give the credit to someone else. That's why you make $250. Fangio's defense requires great safety and cornerback play. I don't see us having to be such a great success next year. Can I hope? Hey, Xander, can I put James's back up there, please? His super chat. Okay. Fangio's defenses require great safety and cornerback play. I don't see us having that to be such a success next year. Can hope, but we can't bank on hope. Hope's a shitty word in football. Now your mock draft, please. No love. Thank you, James. You're awesome, man. Okay? He was hurt. Look at Richard. What a phony. Then don't play. Then don't play. I think more than anything, little Jalen Hurts' feelings were hurt. Little Jalen Hurts, he was hurt. Great. Welcome to the league, kid. Okay. So look at 007. He thinks I'm the cancer, not a shitty head coach. Oh, I see. What's the matter, buddy? You don't like the palm waver here? You don't like me waving pom-poms? Wrong dude. Just hope my fantasy football season. Yeah. Hey, Jeff. I like that. Now he's playing. Now he's saying for Hurts not to play hurt. Wait a minute. Wait. No. I answered him. You play hurt, dude. He's the one saying he was hurt. If Jalen is so hurt and that guy thinks he's that hurt, don't play. Most guys play through injury. Most guys with a backbone play. And they don't make excuses up. The only people that make excuses up are dumb fans. Well, he was hurt in his little bubby toe. And he's like, dude, that is so weak. He was hurt. My God, coordinator sucks. Team imploded. Head coach wasn't good. Players around him. How many excuses? Dak Prescott gets destroyed. He gets destroyed. Hurts and Philly doesn't. The difference between Dak Prescott's coverage and Jalen Hurts' coverage is disgusting. Dak gets murdered. Jalen Hurts has people who, are enablers of excuses for him. It's insane. Dak is the most scrutinized athlete next to LeBron James in American sports. Jalen, I can't believe all the excuses that you give for that guy. And everyone else, like Justin Herbert, you guys call those guys losers, no good. And when that guy shits the fucking bed going 1-7 down the stretch, you start looking for excuses on why he sucked. And then you keep floating out the flag in 2022. That's ridiculous. And I don't even like Dak. I like Dak as a dude, but I don't give a shit about the Cowboys. Got to be kidding me. Because of the fan base, Sills, Dak plays in, he won't say it. That's right. If he played in Jacksonville, you'd never say shit about him. You'd be talking about him like you talk about who? That Trevor Lawrence, right? Give you Josh Allen excuses? I'm trying to give you balance. That Allen is superior to that guy. Superior of a talent. Superior. He is Josh Allen is a 9. Hurts ability, 6 compared to him. Nobody on the planet, if you were going to draft, hey, watch this. You want to see something ridiculous? If you were going to draft a quarterback right now to start your team, would you draft Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen? Who would you draft? You want to see something more obnoxious than ever? Everything's even. Stop it, Sills. Nobody gets more excuses than Dak. Dak does not get any excuses. Okay? Hurts, honestly, I would. Hey, who in their mind would draft Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen? Allen is a turnover machine and has won more games than Jalen. And he's won 4 division titles in a row. Why hasn't Allen won anything? Why didn't Peyton Manning win more? Are you trying to suggest that Peyton Manning failed in Indianapolis because he only won 1 to Brady's 6? He didn't even win more than Roethlisberger. Is that a failure? Holy cow. You know, when you play against good people and good quarterbacks, Hurts has been to the Super Bowl. That's not a dude. Jimmy Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. So it's, according to you, Brad Johnson's better than Jalen because he won one, right? Wait a minute. Brad Johnson's better than Jalen, right? Right? Hey, get this. Nobody outside of Philadelphia thinks that. Nobody. Let's get to mock draft number 2. I'm really not going to debate that any longer. So we're going to not bring that up anymore because it's a stupid argument. And you guys just look dumber and dumber and dumber the more you talk like that. When you watch Josh Allen play versus Hurts, you don't see that bullshit. One guy was playing exceptional ball at the end of the season. Your guy sucked. He sucked. But you make excuses up for him. Hurt, bad coordinator. The players loved him, supposedly, though. Okay. Here we go. Whew. Big Sales mock draft. Peyton was a better talent than Brady. Yeah. So was Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Devin. Yes. Yeah. Brady just was a better quarterback. Yes. Correct. Sills, it's like arguing with a brick wall. You're right, Kyle. I'm not going to debate that. Dude, you know what you're looking at. I don't believe Jalen Hurts is a great pocket passer. Allen's a superior pocket passer. Superior pocket passer. It's not close. Okay, here we go. As promised. I don't think this has changed much. I think Chicago is starting to really build an offense. And by the way, people are now starting to say that the Bears are going to be somewhat a factor in a very, very weak NFC. The NFC is going to go back to being what it was in 2022, just not a very good conference. There's not a lot of good teams in it. So maybe you guys do win 10 games. I don't know. We got Angelo Cataldi at 4:30. I wonder if that's changed at all. Because at the end of the day, it's just a shitty NFC. Since Josh Allen was able to get an OC change, we couldn't change the OC because Nick was the play caller. And Prince, it mattered. It did matter. I can't deny it. I love Jalen, but even I would pick Allen if we were building a pocket passer offensive scheme. Q. They're building the team right in Philly around Jalen, though. They just got to put a lot of people around him. Guy like Allen and Mahomes, you don't have to put a lot of folks. And you're going to win games. Jalen needs all that talent. Allen doesn't. And he's still going to win 11 games for you every year. You know what I'm saying? In 93 games, this guy's won 60 already. He's got 60. He's got almost a 700 win percentage. He's going to win 7 out of every 10 ball games for you. I mean, you can talk whatever you want. He's going to win 7 out of every 10. Okay? Yeah, Anthony, well, he doesn't have Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Trent Williams and a number 1 defense or number 2 defense in the NFL in Buffalo. They don't have that in Buffalo. So know what you're talking about. Let me get to this. I don't think it's changing Chicago. DJ Moore now. You got now Keenan Allen up there. Caleb Williams, I think, still goes number 1, Southern Cal quarterback. Number 2, I think Washington hangs tight at number 2 and takes Jaden Daniels, LSU, quarterback. Number 3, I've got the New England Patriots drafting Drake May. North Carolina quarterback. First 3 selections will be quarterbacks. Number 4, try to help out Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison Jr., Arizona, Ohio State, wide receiver, the first non-quarterback player taken in the 24 NFL draft. Number 5, Malik Neighbors, Chargers, got rid of a lot of wide receivers in Mike Williams and also Keenan Allen. I think they take the LSU wide receiver because they need to move the sticks. Number 6, Roma Odunze, New York Giants, Washington. I thought they might take a quarterback, and I heard John Mara say if there's somebody there they love, they would. They take the wide receiver. They haven't had a wide receiver of any talent in that building since Odell Beckham. Here's a trade. I think the Minnesota Vikings, I believe they move up to Tennessee, and Tennessee moves down to 22, and they get the 11th and 23rd pick of Minnesota to take J.J. McCarthy, Michigan quarterback. I don't see it. Last year, the guy only threw 22 touchdowns in 15 games. I don't get that. So get this, in the first 7 picks, 4 quarterbacks are taken. That's good for the Eagles. Number 8, Quinton Mitchell, Atlanta, Toledo, defensive back. The first defensive football player drafted in the 2024 draft will be Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo. He goes to Atlanta. And by the way, you team him up with Jesse Bates, that looks pretty formidable. Number 9, Chicago's second first-round pick. They take Dallas Turner, Bama, edge rusher. Probably your best edge that's in this draft. I love the kid. Not quite what you saw a year ago, okay, with Will Anderson. Is he in that room? A little, okay? I don't think he has the consistency that Will Anderson had, because Will's a hell of a player. I mean, he and plus he was the defensive rookie of the year. Number 10, the New York Jets take Joe Alt, Notre Dame, offensive tackle. Got to get some help for those 40-year-old legs of Aaron Rodgers. Number 11, Talisi Fuaga, offensive tackle, Tennessee, Oregon State. This is the Big Sills draft, mock draft number 2. Number 12, Brock Bowers, Denver, Georgia Bulldogs, tight end. Number 13, J.C. Langton, awful offensive line in Las Vegas. The Bama offensive tackle goes to the Raiders. Number 14, the second best edge rusher in the draft, Jared Verse, New Orleans, Florida State. 15, another Bama kid, Teron Arnold, Indianapolis, DB. 16, Amarius Mims, Seattle, Georgia, offensive tackle. Number 17, Murphy, Brian Murphy, first defensive tackle taken, interior defensive tackle, Jacksonville, Texas Longhorns. Number 18, I don't want to insult the kid, so I'm just going to go by his last name. Fahashu, the kid from Penn State, offensive tackle, number 18. Number 19, La'atu Latua, Rams, UCLA, edge rusher. Number 20, Brian Thomas, Pittsburgh, LSU, wide receiver. Number 21, Jerosha Newton, Miami, Illinois, defensive tackle. And at 22, the Philadelphia Eagles select Troy Fentanu, Washington, offensive tackle, 6'4", 317. He's my second option to Chop Robinson. Is that Fentanu, the kid from Washington, the offensive tackle, that they'll take either Chop or they'll take Troy from Washington. 6'4", 317. Here's the one thing you got to like about him a little bit here, too. He's 23 and a half years old, and he's a junior. Must be COVID stuff here, because that's pretty old for a kid going into the draft, and he's got another year of eligibility. You would have been 24 years old, 24 and a half years old by the time he got. What does that mean? Why is that a good thing instead of a bad thing? It's great in the O-line. You know why? Offensive linemen, it takes a little bit longer to mature, which means the older you get, the better you get in the offensive line. Okay? So that to me, and again, the one thing that you look at that pick down there, you can't really go wrong with any of the offensive linemen. You just can't. There's too many good ones. And they're all graded the same. Okay? And as a matter of fact, the last two drafts, I've been dead nails right about everything I've said. Okay? Number 23, Cooper DeJean, Tennessee, Iowa, DB. Number 24, Dallas Cowboys, Jackson Powers Johnson, center. LJ says I killed Jurgens. No, I think he's good. Steen, I haven't seen enough. I don't know. We'll see. Jurgens looks decent. He's out of position. He was drafted to play center. I thought he was functional at guard. I didn't think he was exceptional, but I thought he was good. He's an undersized guard, and he's a right-sized center. I don't know. What do you want me to do? Tell you that he have a good pick at Steen when he didn't play a lot? Number 25, Graham Barton, Green Bay, Duke, offensive tackle. Number 26, Darius Robinson, Tampa Bay, Missouri, edge. Number 27, Kamir Lassiter, Arizona, Georgia, DB. A lot of Bulldogs and a lot of Bama guys. Number 28, Adonai Mitchell, Buffalo, Texas, wide receiver. Number 29, Keon Coleman, Detroit, FSU, wide receiver. Number 30, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Buffalo, Bama, DB. Number 31, Chop Robinson, San Francisco 49ers. Penn State, edge. Either the Eagles get him or the 49ers are going to get him. And at 32, Jordan Morgan, Kansas City, Arizona, offensive tackle. Just to recap. Caleb Williams, 1. Jaden Daniels, 2. Drake May, 3. Marvin Harrison, Ford, Arizona. Malik Neighbors, 5 to Los Angeles Chargers. 6, Adunza, Giants. 7, J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota. 8, Quinnen Mitchell, Atlanta. Number 9, Dallas Turner, Chicago. Number 10, Joe Wolt, Jets. Number 11, Talisi Fuaga, Tennessee. Number 12, Brock Bowers, Denver. 13, J.C. Latham, Raiders. 14, Jared Curse, New Orleans. Number 15, Teron Arnold, Indianapolis. Number 16, Amarius Mims, Seattle. Number 17, Brian Murphy, Jacksonville. Number 18, Fahashu, Cincinnati, Penn State. 19, Latu, Rams, UCLA. 20, Brian Thomas, Pittsburgh. Number 21, Jarasa Newton, Miami. Number 22, Troy Fanatu, Washington, Eagles, offensive tackle. 23, Cooper DeJean, Tennessee. Jackson Powers Johnson, Dallas, center. 25, Graham Barton, Packers. Darius Robinson, Bucks. Kamari Lassiter, Arizona. 28, Adona Mitchell, Buffalo. 29, Keenan Coleman, Detroit. 30, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Buffalo. 31, Chop Robinson, 49ers. And 32, Jordan Morgan, Kansas City. That's mock draft number 2. So I'm still on board with Chop Robinson, but now I've added an offensive tackle because that's what the Eagles do well. They draft O-linemen. Okay? They draft offensive linemen good. Snead has agreed to terms on a massive new contract, getting 4 years, $76.4 million. Congratulations. Hey, brother, they were ripping the guy saying, now his career's over. Hey, look at the contract that guy just signed. He's got 3 rings, and he's a multimillionaire. His career's over. Thank you. Thank you. And get this. The Chiefs don't need him. But you sign a grocery list of players, and you're better. They don't sign anybody, and they're losing players, and they'll win a Super Bowl again. There lies the difference in the two organizations. One knows what they're doing, the other one doesn't. You're investing in the wrong guy because you don't have the guy. Seals, what do you like about the skill set of the Eagles O-line you picked at 22? He's quick. He's been really schooled at a great program. Look, here are the programs on the West Coast that you always want to draft. Oregon, Washington. I'm not taking anybody out of Southern California unless you're a receiver. They don't have the O-line they used to. I mean, you know who the superstars at USC used to be? The O-linemen and the running backs. Name me a quarterback in the history of Southern Cal that's been a superstar quarterback in the NFL, can you? If you watched the combine, Stoutland was nodding consistently while Fanatu was running his skills. Definitely see him at 22. That's what I saw too, James, is that when Stoutland was talking with him, and they loved him. You could see Stoutland really liked him a lot. Okay. Flexing goes, USC has no defenders and no O-linemen. Carson Palmer. Okay, Denny. Is that your benchmark guy, Carson Palmer? What kind of NFL career do you think Carson Palmer had? I mean, what kind of – you don't draft quarterbacks out of USC. You never do. And I don't see anything changing. As a matter of fact, I really don't think that Lincoln Riley does a great job with quarterbacks. I think Jalen Hurts is a product of Alabama and went there, and the Big 12 was the worst conference in the SEC. And when you say that, Xander, that any backup quarterback in the SEC could go to the Big 12 and put up Heisman Trophy numbers. You're playing against better people. You're playing against no defenses in the Big 12. None. Let's take a look at that. How many Big 12 defenders are going to go in the first round? Let me think. None. As a matter of fact, I don't have one Big 12 player in my mock draft, number 2 from the Big 12. You know what? Umberto. Sills, this seems like an overall underwhelming draft. Am I wrong? Why? Here. Umberto, you're not, because the quarterbacks are not exceptional. Like, there's not superstar-looking talent at the QB spot. That's always sexy. So you know what the draft is? But like, get this. I'll make predictions. Caleb Williams will not be good. Jaden Daniels, maybe. Drake May. So let's get this right out of North Carolina. Mitchell Trubisky and Sam Howell. How have they done in the NFL? Okay? Get this. RT goes, Sill said the same thing about Ohio State last year before Stroud shut him up. Well, after 155 years, congratulations. You got one right. And he just fired a guy in Chicago from Ohio State. Justin Fields just failed. CJ Stroud is the only guy in 155 years of Ohio State football, and it's 1 year. We'll see. But he looks like the deal. 155 years that Ohio State's been playing football. And this guy goes, he said the same thing about Stroud. Well, it's not that hard to say Ohio State quarterbacks suck. And you know why that is? You had Joe Burrow in the building, and you couldn't even identify him on your own program. You thought Justin Fields was better than Joe Burrow. How do you believe anything that Ryan Day thinks or Urban Meyer when you looked at Justin Fields and thought he was better than Joe Burrow and think they know what they're doing at quarterback? Stop helmet scouting. Helmet scouting. There's a trend. You don't have to be great at quarterback at Ohio State to win games. They beat you with their skill running. The receivers are so wide open. And defense. Helmet scouting. That's a trend, dickhead. That's a trend. Okay? When you have it in 150 years, when you have one guy and you keep putting these guys in the first round. Hey, I don't have a problem with you drafting Justin Fields in the 3rd or 4th round. That's not a problem. But when you're putting in the 2nd pick overall, that's a problem. Jim Kelly is the only Hurricane quarterback. Testaverde threw for 50,000 yards. 50,000 yards in the NFL. I don't think that's horrible. I'll tell you this. He threw more yards than your guy, Donovan McNabb, did by about 20,000. And I don't think Vinny was a superstar player in the NFL. I get this. MG2 goes, Testaverde was a bust. So if you consider 50,000 passing yards to be a bust, then McNabb was. Okay? Okay. Sure. I wouldn't say we've had spectacular quarterbacks. I would say we've had spectacular tight ends, defensive players, wide receivers. Some of the greatest players in the history of the league in the last 2 decades have come from UM. Just look at the Hall of Fame every year. You'll see a Miami Hurricane on there every year. I can't help it. Okay? I can't help it. God rest Jerome Brown and Sean Taylor if they had lived. That had been in the Hall too. Okay? It would have been amazing. Let's see. We got Reggie Wayne still going. Vince will probably get in there. Good to see we put 2 Hall of Famers in. Frank Gore's going in. Second all-time rusher in NFL history. He'll go in. Get this. That entire backfield was Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, and Edgerrin James. And James is a Hall of Famer. Oh, I forgot Edgerrin James. Daddy goes, program went to shit now, agreed. Shut up. Okay. Be quiet. Hey, Xander, make sure we send Jason a link. I'm sure we did, but let's see here. I want to double check. 5:30. Okay. 5:30. 5:30 p.m. We will send. Okay. Hey, do me a favor, guys. Don't forget, March Madness is here. JAKIB Sports is looking for a select 500 folks of our loyal viewers and subscribers to sign up. Don't forget, our great friends at Underdog Fantasy are here to team up with us. Minimum bet is $10. That's it. $10, man. That's all we're asking. You put 10 in, they match it all the way up to $100. We so appreciate that very much again for the March Madness tournament and throughout the tournament. Don't forget, the promo code word is WIN. W-I-N. W-I-N. That is the promo code word. We appreciate it. Angelo Cataldi will be with us at the bottom of the hour. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Who is Isaiah Rodgers? Who's Isaiah Rodgers? Let me guess, Eagle fans. He's an all-pro corner. I'm sure by the end of the summer, everybody in the Philly media, Bill, everybody, this guy will be the greatest corner to ever step into Philadelphia and have a shot to being the next great shutdown corner. Who is he? Here's what the Colts thought of him. He was a 6th rounder, right? Pretty good special teams guy. Showed some promise, right? Where's he fit? Bad gambler like Ohtani. Arthur says he's a stud special teams guy. Okay. Rodgers has all-pro talent. Okay? But I don't know all-pro discipline. Where did you see he was an all-pro talent? So we're talking potential again. Is that what we're doing here? How many guys are you going to... Hey, let's just take a look at for sure on someone that's good. Josh Sweat. That guy's a pretty good ball player. Jalen Carter. Yeah. I'm comfortable saying he's a good ball player. Jordan Davis. I think you guys are going to be shocked. I'm comfortable saying in the right situation, he's a good ball player. You don't have a left defensive end right now because I don't want to do anything to say anything negative about Brandon Graham because he's a non-factor. So your outside linebacker is Bryce Huff. Well, let's see what he can do. He's not a starter. And he's not a 3-down guy. So we're really not sure. And Howie even said it at the meetings in Orlando. He's a projection. We're projecting. Even your general manager's not sure. So you really don't know. Nakobe Dean? I mean, there's just been nothing there. So you don't know. We kind of know, but you guys don't want to say it. Only I say it. Guy sucks until he proves otherwise. Get this. You know what someone will say? Dan, why can't you give the kid the benefit of the doubt? Why? This is the NFL. You're not graded on a bell curve. You're graded on who you are today. That's how the league pays you. The league pays you that. Ask Hassan Reddick. Okay? And there's different metrics on certain guys. So get this. Think about what the Eagles have done just to show you how fucked up they are. They would not rather pay a guy who's proven himself versus a guy who hasn't. How's that make sense? You would fire your top salesman for a guy you think could be better, but you're not sure. Wow. And why is that? Well, because you don't want to pay the guy. Sounds like my radio industry. Hey, I'm not going to pay guys big money. I'll give you a big job. But you'll take the job because you know why? You're young and dumb. When you're young and dumb, you want to hear, hey, Xander, I just thought of something. Xander and I had a conversation. When I was in San Francisco, you want to hear this? They knew that I was so hungry for a job, and to get a job on the air, they gave me $50,000 to be the afternoon host on KMBR 68. And I couldn't wait to get to it. My wife goes, it's California, dude. We can't live on that. in San Francisco. My wife had to get a job, but I wanted it so bad. Now, you couldn't get me out of my driveway for that. You kidding me? I would never touch that job. 50 grand? And that's what they're paying these guys. You think those guys at IP are making big money now? Angelo was the last. I'm not paying them guys anything. I'd be shocked if anybody's making over 100 grand over there. I never made less than 200 grand. I'm not taking a radio job. There's no jobs like that anymore. That's why you have young, stupid people in the business. And Odyssey and iHeart, and that's not just Odyssey. They downgrade. Get this. RT goes, what are you getting now, Sills? A lot more, not to leave my house and sit in my drawers all day. Don't have to waste gas. Don't have to drive in and see stupid people. In my own studio. In my own private, in my own home. Could take a dump when I feel like it. I find that heaven. Someone goes, how much you get paid? Reek. How much do I get paid? Well, I live in California, and I live in the richest city in the country. Hang it in there. How about that? And grateful that you're here. Brian, just grateful. Okay? Isaiah Rodgers, he's young. He's cheap. And this goes right into the MO of the Eagles. Again, look at the Eagles, how they're doing this. You got a guy who's proven himself, but they don't care. So let's go down the other one. So your linebackers are complete guesswork. Your corners. Slayton wasn't super stupid bad last year. Bradbury was terrible. Reed Blankenship, I'm not a fan of. I shouldn't say that. He's okay. And the other safety position, Gardner Johnson, yeah, upgrade. Yeah. Taylor goes, Sirianni loves old Colts players. Why do you think that is, Taylor? Taylor, it can't be that hard. It can't be that hard, Tone. Or it can't be that hard, Taylor, to see why. In case he gets fired in Philadelphia, he'd like to have that Colts job or a job in Indianapolis. Keeps his options open. Okay? Jay goes, Big Silly, the biggest Eagle hater. No. Truth teller. I can't believe one of the great, this is why I love Angelo. He'll be on in a couple minutes. Is because Angelo didn't lie to you. And that's why he was on for 37 years. And the number one rated guy in your city. I saw all the shit on the Reddit boards, what you used to say about him. It's funny because he passed the baton to me. Isn't that right, Xander? One of my favorite clips that JAKIB has is Angelo Cataldi, your greatest sports talk host, passed the baton to me. Not Anthony. Not Mike. Not anybody who's on over there. And he goes on that station and tells them, the guy's the best I've heard. Angelo said it. Shit. You know what's even funny? Angelo even wrote it. To Dan Sileo, one of the best sports talk hosts in the country. Thanks for letting me promote my book. Are you kidding me, man? It's got to be an Italian thing. See, I don't hate all Italians, but I just hate Italians who are bullshit artists and lies. Jay goes, Angelo is washed up like Sills. I must say, Jay, thanks for being here. Winning. I thought Howard Eskin was number 1 rated before. Who? The ultimate cheerleader? Right? Dan, don't trash the Eagles. It's the only truth. It's not I don't look at how is telling you the truth trash talking. I have learned so much. I have learned so much about how you guys look at truth and how you cover things. So if somebody tells you the truth, how about this? So when someone says this to you about someone, no matter who it is, and you don't like it, it's hating, right? Is that right? Sinbad, thank you for being. Yeah, you may, but yes, one more time, Sinbad. One thing that I learned from Angelo, one thing I learned about the Philadelphia sports fans, it's not those stations, and it's not the host. The hosts are irrelevant, including me. Whether I'm here, Angelo's here, whether John Ritchie's here, whether John Kincaid's there, it won't matter. The passion of the Philadelphia sports fans in general moved the needle. Some guys spark it more than others. Okay? Some don't. But it's the fans that move the needle. That's why you are one of the greatest areas of the United States in America. If you can't succeed, you know what, John? I'll tell you something. Jason Kelsey's right, Xander. Do you know what? Can I tell you? You know what? Jason Kelsey's right. If you can't succeed in Philly, you can't succeed anywhere. I don't look at it like that, where you guys are harsh. You know why? You're here every day. When people hate you, they don't come back. When people like you, they come back every day. Right, LJ? They may not want to tell you that because it's not a soft city. But Jason Kelsey's so right. Hey, man, if you can handle it. Reek, hey, but that's cool to me. Reek, that's cool to me. That would mean it's the easiest place. No. Because if you don't have thick skin and understand that these people are going to come, if you come back the next day and you're talking, hey, it's one thing to call me and say, hey, Sileo, fuck you, and then never come back. It's another thing to say it every day for 27 days in a row. That to me is a guy I want on my show. I'm different. I embrace that. Stockholm Syndrome. Oh, my God. Stockholm Syndrome. Okay. Big facts, Sills. You guys are tremendous. It's a tremendous fan base. I've never seen anything like it. Really, man. You know what? I was so close. You guys ever hear of Andy Bloom? Andy Bloom was the program director at WIP. Hey, yeah, that's right, LJ. Hey, LJ, there was a program director named Andy Bloom who he and I are dear friends. I had a 3-year contract on the table to join WIP. And we were talking. But Mark Chernoff and I never saw eye to eye. I couldn't stand him. He couldn't stand me. And if you know anything about it, if you think about the hosts that are on WFAN right now, there's really only one guy that has had great success at WFAN who is a former athlete, and he's not even a number 1 seat, is Boomer. Now, they got Tiki in there now, but that show's okay. Tiki's not the best host. He's not a great host. Okay? But Boomer's the only guy. The rest of them are all those CBS nerds. Look at WIP. They finally got rid of all them CBS nerds. CBS sucks. All the people who worked at CBS destroyed Odyssey. Hey, Anthony, can you hey, that would have been really great. I'd love to have done some stuff with Angelo, like follow Angelo. That's what Andy was thinking, me following Angelo. How about that one there, Xander? Angelo Cataldi, and then I would have been on right after him at WIP. What about your guy, Carton? Craig's a great host. Spectacular host. Why do you think they brought a guy back who was in prison? Was it because of his glowing reputation? It wasn't because that, hey, Craig, doesn't get under people's skin. It's because he's talented. That's why they brought him back. The guy was in prison for 18 months for extorting money from Odyssey, and they put him back on. I say something 14 years ago, people are like, this guy's nuts. Me and my aunt still don't get it. Can't talk politics at all. Third rail. Politics will divide your audience. Yale. If you notice, I throw a little subtlety in it. Sills will eat his words when we finish 12 wins. You already missed it, kid. Who cares if you win 12 wins? You mean if you win the Super Bowl, right, jackass? I don't give a shit if you win 12 games. You should be talking about Sid Rosenberg. Hey, Yale, you know how I got the job at QAM? Sid was under his Jaguar, and he was drunk, and they fired him. The guy who was the market manager fired him, and now he's the morning host of WABC, and he's kicking ass. And I love Sid. Sid and I are boys. Love Sid Rosenberg. Love him. One of the most controversial guys on the planet. Used to be on with Imus. Oh, man, I love Sid. I was on a station with him for a little bit. They couldn't take it. It was Sid in the mornings and then me right after. It was really kind of salty radio, and yeah, it was you had to have your seatbelt on. Okay. So 12 wins, more important than a Super Bowl. Got it. Who cares about 12 wins? How many wins did the Chiefs have last year? Okay. Easy, Yale. Easy. Leave my guy Sid Rosenberg. Hey, leave my guy Sidney Rosenberg alone when you're talking about, speaking of doing rails. Relax. Come on now. People have, it's all good, man. I just want the offense to look competent. 23 was terrible. Hey, see this guy here, this Eagle fan? He gets it, man. He's looking at the 17 games, not half a season. Jalen was the MVP in week 10. Who cares? So was Dak. I mean, right, flexing. This guy, Jay, is rooting for 12 wins instead of a Super Bowl win. This guy must be the yachtsman. Oh, I heard the yachtsman speaking today. Yeah? The Super Bowl road goes through Philly. You will all see. What are you, 6? E-Girls, 8 wins. Oh, no. Exactly. We're about chips. Yeah, that's why the yachtsman's underachieved as an owner. He's got 1 ring. It's all about the postseason. Not the J-Bone. J-Bone says it's about 12 wins. And the yachtsman. Yeah, hey, we got to get some words out of what the yachtsman said. Keep hating, you'll see. Keep hating what? You're the one that said it, jackass. You're the one rooting for 12 wins. I'm rooting for a Super Bowl win. What's hating on that? How am I hating? You hear what he just did? I want you to win the Super Bowl. He's rooting for 12 wins. And I'm the hater. How's that? Well, how am I hating? Oh, my God. Holy cow. Yes, sir. Hey, man. Unbelievable, man. I learned a lot today. By the way, I agree with Darius Slay that the NFL now, with the hip drop tackle not being in, get ready for your – see, get this. You have one of the worst tackling defenses in the National Football League. And now you're going to take the hip drop tackle out. Wow. You got two shitty tackling edge guys as of now in Hassan Reddick and Bryce Huff. And you're going to – and another guy who sucks at the run, Devin White. And another guy who sucks at the run, and Nakobe Dean. And now you're taking a tackle out of the sport, which means you're going to have more missed tackles. Yeah. I can't think of two teams better in the NFC. Jay, why? Well, let's see. The Bucs destroyed you. The Giants beat you. The Cardinals beat you. Seattle beat you. Slay doesn't like to tackle. I can't think. That guy, Jay, thinks you have a really good football team. You have a really great, talented offensive side of the ball. You're not that talented on defense. Okay, C24, you're not that talented on defense. Where's your talent? There's not a guy on that football team that's a Pro Bowl talent. There's not one guy on defense that I would consider Pro Bowl talent. Nobody. Who? The backup? Carter? Watch this. Maybe. Top 10 defense, you'll see. Dude, you were last almost in the NFL in pass defense. And you had Gardner Johnson, and now you're better at corner? This guy's blind. Wow. I'll tell you what, man. Hey, man, I heard the Yachtsman was talking a lot down in Orlando. You got to see the Yachtsman. He's down there in Orlando kicking it up with everybody down there. I saw Nick Sirianni, too. Holy cow. Nick's talking about culture. I was like, what could you possibly know about culture? Now, if you're talking about South Philly and the Italian culture, I might have to listen to that. But if you're talking about building a culture inside a building, when it comes to, if your guys loved you so much, Nicky, why did they quit on you? I don't get it. Folks, by the way, all the guys at WIP are kicking my ass because, you know why? You see this guy right here? I think they hate the fact he loves Big Sills. But I do think it's a Paisan thing. But I got a lot of Italian guys over there, too. I don't think John Ritchie's a Paisan, and if he is, he's a phony one. But it's okay. I love him. He knows I do. But look at this right here. It's also out in audio. My friend, the legendary Angelo Cataldi joins us now. Angie, how you doing?
It's not because you're Italian. It's because you're brilliant, Dan. Come on. I don't care about ethnic. I care about people I can talk to that speak the same language I do, and that's you. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
invite.
Oh, so yesterday, Angelo, this is a quote from Nick with a little paraphrasing in here. When asked a question on the offense, he said, we're going to do some blending of ideas between me and Kellen to put the offense in 2024. Should Nick Sirianni have any input, in your opinion, when it comes to the 2024 Eagle offense?
He doesn't have any. He doesn't. First of all, you can't see this because the camera doesn't go all the way down, but I'm wearing big hip boots because the last 2 days between the Yachtsman today and the general manager Roseman yesterday and Sirianni yesterday, man, they're piling the manure up real high right now. And Sirianni, this whole thing is a charade. The only reason Sirianni, they don't have any faith in him. He's back because they didn't want to develop this reputation like a lot of teams do, where after a couple of years, one bad spell, they get rid of the coach. They like to tell people how they believe in consistency and they're not easily swayed, right? But was anything said in the last 2 days, Dan, did it shed any light whatsoever on the most historic collapse in the history of the Eagles? Did anyone shed the barest light on any of it?
No, they deflected.
The owner today just got this guy, so he waits till he's in Florida. I believe, again, I'm picturing this. He's got the new yacht, and he pulled into a dock at Lake Buena Vista in Florida where thing was. And he said, all right, you tell the butlers, you guys hold the yacht while I'm in here dealing with this dirty work. I'll be back out right after I pile some more manure up. And then he goes, oh, you have no idea. We have these very, very intense meetings, and we delve so deeply before we decide, what we're going to do. When they were losing all those games at the end, were they having these intense meetings then, or did they wait till they ruined the whole season? What are these meetings supposed to give us?
Nothing.
Then he goes, I can't tell you why it went wrong. I could say that. The other teams that were competing with us in the NFC, they had bad spells too, but they pulled out of them. We couldn't figure out how to do that. Oh, good. I'm glad you're bringing the coach back then, because he had no idea what he was doing, and he's back. That's great. And then they get into the specifics of who's going to be doing what, and you realize that Sirianni isn't going to be doing anything because he's in charge of the culture. The culture. This is a subjective thing that they could sit to. He's not doing anything with the offense. He's not blending squad. You understand?
Absolutely,
He's not
Angelo.
doing anything. Kellen Moore would not have come here if he thought that guy was doing anything. If that guy had any brains, he would have figured out how to get out of this mess the past season. So
No.
Nothing.
Now, wait. Now, here's why I think he took the job. And tell me, now, look, this is me with conspiracy theory, okay? When he leaves Dallas, he goes to the Chargers where Brandon Staley's on the hot seat, and he thinks,
right,
hey, that guy is 3 games away from being fired. Well,
right.
He does get fired, but the Spanoses land on a gold mine in Harbaugh. They blow him out. What's the next job out there that's got a lot of talent that a coach is on the hot seat? It's Philly.
Yeah.
It's almost like an opportunist looking for an opportunity to come in. And like you just said, Angelo, I don't think Nick Sirianni has any say, blending, whatever. That's just hyperbole for the media, especially the Philly media to hear. But to me, he takes that job because he knows that coach right now is in the bullseye of the owner.
There's more to it, Dan. There's more to it. He worked for Brandon Staley. We now can say conclusively, Brandon Staley had no idea what he was doing as a head coach. He was awful, all right? Would Moore take a job with another guy who has demonstrated he's clueless unless he had assurances from the people in charge that Sirianni would not get in his way? He would not take the job because he has opportunities. He's a good offensive mind. He wouldn't have taken it unless Lurie and Roseman said to him, you got the offense. Nick is going to stand there and pretend he's doing something. But all he's going to do is stand there. And that's all it is. Nick has no power anywhere. Do you understand? Nowhere. In fact, I'll even go to the state. If they want to play the regulars a little bit in the preseason, if Moore or Fangio want to play those guys, they're going to play. They have the final say on how to deploy the talent. Sirianni is just a figurehead with no power whatsoever. The worrisome part is not Sirianni. He's been completely defanged. The problem is right now, Lurie and Roseman are coming across as clueless again. Lurie was awful today. And Roseman's he's just got the same song and dance now that is
it's
no
just a
longer
different
believable.
day. Same stuff, Angelo. It's the same stuff. And let me throw this at you here too. So this dealing with Hassan Reddick, and follow me here.
It is.
So a year ago, they draft Nolan Smith to be the heir apparent on the replacement for him. Then they tell him, hey, you want to find a better team or a team to give you more money? Go look for it. Then they take on the first day of free agency a guy who duplicates his skill set, who was a backup in New York, and they pay him more than the current guy. Then they turn around and they hold back a roster bonus from March 15th to April 1. And I'm saying going like this. So wait a minute. If you're Hassan Reddick, I had 27 sacks. I ruined an NFC title game for you. And you're sitting here treating me, a guy who's performed for you, and you're going with a guy who you're going to project with your analytics department, who you think can do the things that I do, but I've done it. I'm not getting the handling of this.
This Reddick thing is sticking in my craw too. He's the best player on their defense. He's
correct.
The best player they got, and they can't pay him. Then you look, when you brought Barkley and you pushed all your chips into the middle of the table anyway. I'm not getting rid of Reddick. Reddick's my best pass rusher. In the right situation, he's a double-digit sacker. No question. He did it 2 years ago.
4 years in a row.
Why am I getting rid of him? Why am I getting rid of him? For all the guys that are left, I mean, Brandon Graham's at the end of it. He doesn't have much left. The guy they got from the Jets, he wasn't even a full-time player.
47% of the time, Angelo, he played in the plays for the Jets, and he wasn't even a starter.
Yeah, that's not anywhere close to what Reddick brings you. And Nolan Smith didn't show enough. We don't know yet if he can do anything. Why are you getting rid of Reddick? It doesn't make any sense. I don't care if he's in the final year of his contract. I don't care if he's going to hold out. None of that matters. He's going to have to play. And you know what? He wouldn't hold out because he's a Philadelphia guy. He would end up playing here. I don't understand when teams give up on very good players over contract things. Play him this year anyway, whether he's happy or unhappy. You're right. They mismanaged the money. They should have found a way to get more for Reddick because Reddick is the best player on their defense. But don't just put him in mothballs. Or they're going to end up getting rid of him for like a 4th-round pick. What good is that going to do anybody? You're winning this year, or you're not winning for a while. So win this year. You lost Kelsey. You lost Cox. You're losing Graham. You're going to lose Lane Johnson pretty soon. You got to do it now. What are you waiting for?
Angelo, here's what I'm looking at with Roseman's offseason. And boy, I'll tell you, you're the only one that kind of sees it how I do. I think what they've made outside of the Barkley move and maybe the Gardner Johnson, this stuff is all mid-level signings. I mean, follow me here when I say Matt Hennessy was a failure in Atlanta. He was a 3rd-round guy that Atlanta moved off of because he was always injured. Okay, so now all of a sudden he's magically going to find a fountain of health in Philly. Okay, then they signed Devin White. The Buccaneers, Todd Bowles was giving kudos to Shaq Barrett yesterday at the owners' meetings going, hey, the Dolphins got to steal. When asked the question about Devin White, he goes, good luck to the player. Someone asked a follow-up. He goes, he's lazy. And I'm going, okay, there's a 1-year prove-it deal. Yeah. You're going to put Nakobe Dean back in, and you know he can't stay healthy. I just look at all these moves, Angelo, and I go like this. Paris Campbell. Okay, 2 years ago, he was decent in New York when Daniel Jones. If you want to build a practice squad, you get Howie because these guys are all – you didn't get Xavier McKinney. You could have spent that money on a big-time free safety. You don't do it. You could have went after Brian Burns. You didn't want to do it. You could have went after Patrick Queen. You didn't want to do it. Tell me, am I looking at this wrong?
Well, Howie – here's what Howie's been doing. This is kind of new last couple of years. Howie's been holding redrafts with players that were in the higher rounds of the draft and busted out. did not. They were all underachievers, and he's got a bunch of them now. He went out. He got a half a dozen of these guys who were top 3 picks, first 3 rounds, and they didn't pan out. And he goes, no, but they look good at the combine. They check a lot of boxes. When we get them and our culture master, Nick Sirianni, right? When Sirianni gets these guys in his hands and the new coordinate, these guys are all going to blossom into something special. It's bogus. And the Barkley thing, now that I've heard Roseman's explanation, it still makes no sense to me. We spend extra money for special players. The guy's been hurt pretty much every year. You think
last four, Angelo, he's averaged 700 yards, albeit on a bad Giant team. But I'll say this to you, Angelo. Okay, we're going to find out if he's special or if it was the Giants. Like you said, you're rolling the dice on a guy who underachieved as the number 2 pick in New York.
It's not, all of it is just, it's this, I hope.
Are they panicking?
Well, no, I don't think they're panicking. I think they honestly believe that what we saw the last half of the season was an aberration, that they had the core of a great team, and that if they just add talent, and that these talented guys who didn't pan out elsewhere, they're going to all have this epiphany, and they're going to play great in Philadelphia. It's bogus. It's not going to happen. Dan, they're not going to be good next year. I don't know how else to say this. I've been having a war lately, and I'm in retirement. What am I having wars with? Because I wrote a thing on my blog today that the Phillies are not going to be any better than they were a year ago, because they don't have any. They have one new player, Whit Merrifield. The rest, they just brought all the same guys back.
Starting pitching behind, closer.
If you're 14 games behind a team and you bring the rosters back pretty much the same, you're going to win the next year with that?
No.
It's people this time of the year, but when their teams are not playing, they build up these ideas that all this stuff is going to work.
Because they see the movement.
Yeah, there is movement. You see, the Eagles always have movement, but it's not movement forward. It will not make them a better team. And they still got this cloud over them that they fell apart last year. And you got Hurts, who is 1 year away from being a complete discontent. He's going to be a malcontent next year. I guarantee it. Soon as he starts seeing these guys blitz through again and no coach be able to fix that, he's going to go, this isn't going to work in Philadelphia. They've got a nightmare at hand. And all this baloney you heard in the last 2 days, it didn't change my mind one iota. These guys are still slinging it.
5 wins?
5, maybe 5.5. Maybe 5 and a top. Maybe 5 and a top.
So Barkley maybe gives you maybe a tick up from take 5.5.
Wow, I can't ignore the fact. I was going to just stick with 5, but when Jeff Lurie said today they've had very, very, very intense meetings, I went, wow, if it was one, very maybe. But he had 3 of them in there at one point. Then I went, no, these meetings must have been worth something. They were so intense.
I wonder who a bigger bullshit artist is, Norman Brayman or the yachtsman.
That guy right there, he sounds every day like a guy that ran one business his whole life, and no one ever told him he was doing it wrong. He just walks around.
So you're saying he's born on third base?
Oh, yeah, that's the one I love. Born on third base and thinks he hit a triple. And he just walks around. This is how we do this, and this is how we do that. Well, if this is a good model for management, explain what happened at the end of last season. Because no Eagle team in history ever flopped the way that one did. Explain this to me so I'll have some sense of what happened.
Maybe the 64 Phillies were the only team that had a meltdown as bad as the Eagles, correct?
It was that bad. It was epic. And nothing they have said since then has given me one grain of hope that they figured it out, because they didn't figure it out when it was happening, and they still haven't figured it out.
Angelo, so Merrill Reese said this the other day on a show, and we had him on too, and he made this reference when someone said Kenny Pickett, and Merrill said this. He goes, yeah, they probably didn't go with the better guy in Justin Fields because the organization may have been a little nervous that the fans would start yelling. And I'm not, by the way, and I'm not suggesting that Justin Fields is a better player than Jalen. However, with 18 turnovers and the way he played down to Justin Fields' play in the last 8 games of the season. I think we can all say that he was not effective. A lot of things, coaching, the court, I get it, but he still played down from 22. Merrill's contention was they probably went with the guy who's not going to make the most noise, and they were a little nervous on bringing in and having another smaller 2.0 situation like you had with Wentz and Hurts when he was here. Do you think there's any?
But yeah, that makes sense to me. But I mean, Pickett is such a different quarterback with a different style than Hurts.
It doesn't even fit the players they have and the offense they have.
If something happened, I mean, last year when you had Mariota, you had a guy who played a similar style. To have Pickett, and I mean, I don't want to belittle the guy, but my hands are actually larger than his. In the combine, they were worried about him fumbling because he has small hands. See, I couldn't throw the ball at all, but I could hold it. He has small hands. I don't see how that made sense. I don't understand. That's not their philosophy anymore.
Then they signed Will Greer.
I don't understand that. Yeah, they got a good deal, I guess, because he's another guy that got a very high draft pick who didn't really amount to anything, right? This offseason is almost like they put a dartboard up, and wherever the dart hit, they went after those guys. But Fields, to me, I mean, they were giving him away in Chicago, it would have fit better. And if you're worried about how that would affect Hurts, then apparently your coach isn't that good at his culture, because that's his job. His job is to make them coexist.
Angelo, you said something that I hadn't thought of, that you think if Hurts sees another meltdown by this organization.
Yeah.
You think like you see, like, look at, and there's another guy in Philly now, Embiid. He's got to start thinking, I mean, now look, injuries played a factor, but is he ever going to get out of the first round? He's like the only MVP never to get to a conference finals. And after a while, don't you want to get to a place to give you a shot at maybe winning that ring? So if you're Hurts and you see another nuclear meltdown, will the $255 million contract be enough to keep him in the building when you know that he could get that anywhere else with a better organization?
I'll tell you, Dan, the one thing that I feel that I really figured out in my 33 years at WIP was quarterback controversies. And you could see the Wentz thing a year before it completely unfolded. You could see his attitude in the training camp after they drafted Hurts. You could see that he was going in a bad direction. Hurts ended last season. He didn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He was really unhappy with the way that offense was coached. Really unhappy. And he was questioning for the first time whether this was the right spot for him. Remember, Steichen, he had people before that he trusted. He doesn't now. Now, whether or not Kellen Moore makes the connection with him that he needs to do, more adversity with Hurts this year will lead to his true discontent. I guarantee it for you. By the end of the year, if they do what I'm saying and win 5 or 6 games, by the end of the year, Hurts is going to be saying, get me out of here. He's not going to be happy.
For you, I want to throw this at you here because I brought this up to everyone, and I want to show everyone how difficult this is going to be, because I'm not under this spell like everyone in Philly is, that Kellen Moore is all of a sudden going to come in and be a magician and he's going to be like Merlin and he's going to turn this kid around. Is he going to be better than Brian Johnson? Okay, I guess, but at the end of the day, I don't know how impressed I was with him when he was in Dallas. What did he do in the postseason with the Cowboys as an OC? What did he do last year in Los Angeles with Herbert? And now you have Barkley. So get this. In the last decade, there's only been 3 running backs with 20 touches, 20 or more touches that have averaged throughout a season. 2014, DeMarco Murray, 17, Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers, and 2019, McCaffrey when he was in Carolina, not in San Francisco. So my question is this. Okay, so Barkley is going to get 20 touches to justify the contract? Think about this. The last 2 years, you've averaged 1,200 rushing yards and 250 receiving with Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift. That means for this thing to be an upgrade, Angelo, he's got to go for 1,500 rushing yards and for at least 500 receiving, $2,000 for this thing to be an upgrade. Or if he does the same, why'd you pay him? It's the same result.
He's got to get 20 touches because you're paying him to get 20 touches. He's making 14.
Aren't there too many mouths to feed in that offense?
Well, that will not be a problem once Barkley gets hurt. And if he's getting 20 touches a game, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt. History doesn't suddenly change after 4 years.
Correct.
Things continue to happen that way. If he's getting 20 touches, that means maybe 15 or 16 times he's getting hit really hard. That doesn't even include the block, right? He's going to wear down. He's going to get hurt because he's not durable.
He's not.
He's talented. He gives you all the different aspects you need. He can run, he can catch, he can block. He gives you all of that. For how long? And that's the problem. And then guess what? Kenny Gainwell is back. And that we already saw how that goes.
Hey, Kenny Gainwell, there's some sort of magical love affair that they have with that guy. I think he's a dude.
They love him. They love him. They love Gainwell. Gainwell will get plenty of work. Look, here's the thing. Kellen Moore will be an improvement over Brian Johnson because my dog Bentley would be an improvement over the way that guy coached last year. All right. And it was almost as bad defensively. In fact, it was as bad. Those guys were terrible. Matt Patricia, oh my God, was he bad. Before him, Desai, he was terrible. These guys are an improvement because they're proven coordinators. They've done the job at least. But it's not going to be nearly enough. It's not.
So who do the players trust, though, Angelo? The head coach?
The players are going to have to trust the coordinator.
So the coach, if he says something, if the coach says something in the locker room, you ignore it?
Dan, they're going to go in and see very quickly that the head coach is powerless. They're going to see that. And then it's going to be, what do I say to endear myself to the coordinator? This situation is not going to end well. I've seen enough of these. It would be a miracle if they were a winning team next year and made the playoffs. A miracle. It's not going to happen. And I wish it would because I love when they win. But these guys have set up a failed situation, and we're all going to have to suffer through it.
I got 7 wins. You got 5.5.
All right.
You know what? I'm starting to creep down because everyone keeps saying A+ offseason. I'm like, where are you seeing the upgrades? I see Gardner Johnson. I loved what they did with the guard Landon Dickerson. They restructured his contract. He's a really good player. I love that they kept Sweat. Those are good players because you're reinvesting in your team and your draft picks. Those are great. But when you're signing all these Band-Aids and you think those Band-Aids are going to cover the bleeding that you had at the end of the year, you're high.
Exactly. I do want to say one thing, though. And actually, I have 2 thoughts before I leave you, Danny. One is this. I think we need a moment of silence for the departure of Quez Watkins. It was such an amazing third down calls to Quez Watkins when he never made a friggin' play. It's going to be so sad to see him go. I guess he ended up in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
Good luck, Quez. See you later. And the other thing is this. I'm not strong on geography, right? The Eagles season opener is in Brazil, right?
Brazil, Sao Paulo.
Is there a place where Lurie can dock the new yacht near where they're going to play?
I think he's got to go through up near the I think he's got to go through the Panama Canal, and he's got to roll through that section, and then he heads up past Ecuador. Then he comes over, and then I think he can dock him in the northern section, and then he can take a camel down to Brazil, and he can take his camel down there, and he can go to Brazil, and then he can when he gets to Brazil, he can do just like, you know, the faith of Jesus here, and hope that they beat Deshaun Watson and that defense.
I guess whatever it is, I just want to make sure he has a place to, because, you know, right after they lost, he bought that new yacht, and I feel so happy about the yacht's really the best thing they've done in the offseason.
You know, me, when I'm depressed, I go buy a White Castle. This guy buys a yacht. I mean,
big yacht. A big one. A big
one.
yacht.
Wait a minute. Not a little one.
No.
Big one here.
Big one. No doubt about it.
How is the book doing, and how is the audio coming along?
The book is doing great, and people are now, I'm getting feedback on the audio book, and I guess they found a way to edit it so it sounded like I was doing a good job with it, because they're saying nice things about it. It's been a joy to be able to talk to all the people. You could follow me. I got a new blog post today on the Phillies. It's not very positive. You go to AngeloCataldi.com. You could order the book there. You could order the audio book at Amazon or Audible.com. And Dan, it's always a pleasure to be on with you. It is not because you're Italian. It's because you are brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you, Angelo. It's an honor. Believe me, it's an honor, and you're like truly a mentor of mine, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much, my friend. And by the way, Philly misses you, man, because you know why? You're the fountain of truth.
Yeah.
Okay. They miss you.
I depress myself sometimes. They're better off without me.
Angelo's so honest. I am depressed.
Imagine what it's like to live with me. My wife, God bless.
That's what my wife says.
Man.
Hey, that's what my wife says with me. Will you ever smile one time? Just one. I go, I'm sorry, I can't. Angelo, thank you, my friend.
Take care.
You got it. The great Angelo Cataldi. God, it's so great to talk to someone who believes what I'm saying and knows what I'm saying to be true. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Love hearing that. How you doing? Does it get any better? Oh. We have an A+ all season. Just A+. Got to be crazy, man. Guys are a 5 to 5. Angelo's got 5.5. I got 7. Xander's got 14. Bill's got 17-0. Let's see. I wonder what Jody thinks. I wonder what John thinks. Xander says 10-7. Ooh, that's a little bit floating along 500 there. You guys are 2 peas in a pod. Find a room, Sills. Yeah, maybe you and Nicholas Sirianni should find a room. Steve goes, disappointed in you, Sills. Why? For 2 people telling the truth about your so-called love affair that you have with your team? That's not good. They're not good. I tried telling you this, guys, last year when you were 10-1. Have faith. Please have faith. I'll never lead you astray like LJ. I'll never do that. I lead you to the fountain of truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. I'm a helper. Okay? I'm a helper. Sills riding. Oh, hey, Kelly Green. I can't help it. He passed the Philadelphia sports talk baton to me. I didn't ask him to. I can't believe he did it. All those great legendary hosts you have. And he passed it to me. So we didn't win the Super Bowl. You act like you won 10 in a row. You didn't. And you act like last year you were a Super Bowl contender and you weren't. Stop gloating. No, I won't. Steve's the fountain of douchey. I got to take a time out here, man. Okay. That 10-1 was duct tape. Ball and wire. I don't know anyone who was comfortable with that team despite the record. Slagger. Shit. You kidding me? Everyone used to come in here all the time telling me I was full of shit when they were 9-0. You're not good. You're not that good. Even Tone, when he was doing the show, he'd go, I can't believe you rip a team that's undefeated. I'm like, they're not good. By the end of the year, they'll not be good. And they weren't. They weren't. Okay, you said the Eagles would not get to 10 wins. That was wrong. I said the Eagles would never get to an NFC championship game. That was right. I said you were one and done. That was right. I said your defense would suck. That was right. I said Jalen Hurts would never throw for $4,000. That was right. I said that Jalen would never throw for 30 touchdowns. That was right. I said N'Kobe D will end the season on IR. That was right. Damn. Yes, sir. All right, I got to take a time out and towel off here, man. Okay? Big sales, March Madness. Down to the Sweet 16, baby. JAKIB Sports looking for some folks, and we are looking for our loyal viewers and subscribers to join me and Underdog Fantasy and having a great time here. $10, they'll match it all the way up to $100. Very simple. Okay? Whatever you do during the tournament, and you can join right now for March Madness. Remember now, you got to use the promo code WIN, W-I-N. That's W-I-N. My boy Jason Cole, he may have a different perspective, okay, on the greatness of Howie Roseman. Hey, by the way, how about the Yachtsman? He was pathetic today. I've been watching some of the highlights. He was pathetic. We've been really studying, and we've been in massive meetings. What'd you accomplish? Hit the like button. Power Hour. Big Sills. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans, We're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at JAKIB. At JAKIB we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give JAKIB a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything. Everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Hang on, I'm listening to your quack owner. You could never, in a million years, put me on in that city because they would never have me talk the truth about what I just heard, how Jeffrey Lurie's talking about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, about a guy who shit the bed last year and you're paying $250 million to. Don't you get it? The criticism goes to you, no matter. Bill says you can't have it both ways. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. When things go well in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes doesn't take the bows. You know what he does? He says it was a team effort. When Patrick Mahomes, see, this is the difference between me and Bill Colarulo. He don't get it. Because this is how a $250 million championship quarterback acts. When shit sucks, Mahomes is going to take all the blame. This is my fault. Jalen Hurts does not have accountability for himself when things go sideways. I'm hurt, bad coaching, all of that other shit. When Mahomes plays great and the team wins, it's a team effort. Hey, our receivers played so great. Play calling was amazing, unbelievable. When they lose, this is on me. I got to play better. Our receivers are fine. They're young. I've got to be better. That's how championship people act. Not deflecting. Like your owner, your general manager, head coach, and your quarterback. All of it is deflecting. And that's why you're not going to win. Greatness is accountability. Nobody who makes $55 million gets all the kudos they want. You're going to get more criticism than you are going to get love because of the position you play and the money you make. Okay? Every championship quarterback that knows what they're doing talks like a champion. Hurts doesn't talk like a champion. He doesn't. Callie Green goes, get some new takes. Stop giving me the same shit with your owner's bullshit and your GM and head coach's shit. They'll be new. Just like Angelo just said, Same shit, different bat channel. Every day. It's the same stuff with these guys. It's the same shit. Dude, they refuse to answer. They refuse to answer why they screwed last year up. You know why? They don't want to. And the media in your market won't ask it. Because they're cowards. If I was at that press conference, I'd ask Howie, hey, who do you hold accountable for that team falling apart at the end of the year? You know what I would be hoping? The quarterback would stand up and go, it was my fault. I'd look at Jalen and have more respect for him. Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir. That was last year. Now we have new coordinators. Again. Let's see how many that is. You had a failure in the first year under Sirianni. Him. F. A+. Steichen. Right? D-. Brian Johnson. Now you got Kellen Moore. Yet to be determined. F, A+, D-. Kicking it, ain't you? Will Cataldi place a bet on under 6 games? Ask him. How you doing? Look at the coordinator grades you had the last listen, Sirianni. And I gave Steichen an A+. Got a head coaching job out of it. So Steichen A+. That's fair. Decide D-. F, A+, D-. What will Kellen Moore bring? Let me guess. A+? Let's see the defense. Shit, Gannon got a job. You got to give him a B+. Patricia, F. Desai, F. Vic. So look at this here. B+ for Gannon. He got a job. F. Yet to be determined with Vic. Hey, you guys are hitting on all cylinders with these coordinators. Well, it's an upgrade, Sales. We'll see. Wasn't an upgrade in Los Angeles, and it wasn't an upgrade in Miami. That's not what players are saying about Vic. Vic Fangio was not an upgrade as a DC in Miami. Look where his team was ranked. Oh, injuries. Oh, okay. Okay. Facts. Hurts not all that. He got no dog in him. I don't know. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not going that. A-Track goes, Gannon sucks, and yet he got a head coaching job. And he coached the shit out of you in a game where he had 4 wins. How can that be, A-Track? He beat the doorknobs off you with receivers I can't even name. Okay? Think about that for a minute. Jonathan Gannon beat the piss out of the Eagles with Kyler Murray and nobody. 3 straight playoff appearances in the Super Bowl. And why was he almost fired? This fan base can't answer that. Hollywood Brown, he was on the Arizona and now with Mahomes. I thought he was injured for that game. This is classic. Unbelievable. Totally classic. You guys live in the island of delusion. I mean, you guys are connected to the Cowboy Island. See, the Cowboys think they're Super Bowl contenders. You guys are happy with 12 wins. At least the Cowboys are trying to shoot for a Super Bowl. You guys shoot for silver medals. Yes, you can, Q. Of course you can. Can I play devil's advocate real quick? I wonder if the organization muzzles Jalen from speaking. It's no excuse for not talking, but still interesting. Hey, Q, how about this? When Sirianni was asked about the relationship between him and Jalen, why couldn't the head coach go, we got a great relationship. It's a wonderful relationship. Instead, he gave some soft-ass runaround question that he couldn't answer. Why hasn't Jalen backed the head coach in any public statement? Why hasn't the head coach said our relationship is great? Is it that hard to tell the truth? Or is it that Jalen doesn't want to say something that would be misinterpreted? Why doesn't Jalen want to why doesn't he want to back his head coach? I've never heard him. I've never heard him. I mean, he's asked a simple question. Hey, you and Hurts, are you good? Well, got a very, professional relationship and Dylan, he leads a different way and then he goes off into that diatribe bullshit, whatever, that his daughter even mimics. I mean, by the way, she's classic and hilarious. Kudos to Nick. What a cute looking kid and funny. I wish he was at the press conference more than he was. Sirianni about to open a word salad stand after his season. Get it about hey, Q, honest to God, every time Sirianni talks, I just wish he'd shut up. Because he says nothing and talks for hours. He just talks for hours. Hey, Dan, do you think this is Jalen's last season with the Eagles? I thought that was an interesting take by Angelo, that eventually he gets a little pissed off with the way that the Eagles handle him because he doesn't want to go down the way of Wentz. I don't know what kind of control he would have with that. Okay. Now he has a no-trade clause in his contract. Would he demand to be out? He's still got years remaining on that contract. I think he'd have to wait until 26 for there's a reevaluation. But at the end of the day, I thought it was interesting. Angelo will go like this. Hey, am I going to win a Super Bowl here? Maybe not. Let me just say this to you. Would you not agree? Hey, Yale, would you not agree? If they don't win a Super Bowl with that talent on offense this year, they'll never. Don't you agree? Still, serious question. Why is one game a indication of anything besides that game? Gannon is now Vince Lombardi because he beat the Eagles. No, that's what you guys say about Jalen Hurts because he got to the Super Bowl. Slagger, honest question. The reason that you think Josh Allen is better, if you take the Super Bowl away from Jalen Hurts, that's all he has on Josh Allen. Allen has him in every other thing. Winning, talent, every other thing. You use that metric for Hurts because it's the only one you have on Allen. He's not as talented. He's not as good. And you know it. Josh Allen has a better shot to get to the Hall of Fame than Jalen Hurts ever will. But you don't see it that way. Okay? No, Slagger. That's your metric for Jalen. Got to a Super Bowl. Am I right? I'll use a big bill thing. Well, you can't have it both ways, can you? So you want to use that metric over Allen because he went to the Super Bowl, even though he's not as good. But when it comes to a coach knocking the doorknobs off you and beating your coach. By the way, how about this? What has Nick Sirianni done without Shane Steichen as offensive coordinator in Philly? What has he done? What has he done? Look at the metric they're doing. Jalen undefeated against Josh Allen. Yeah. And so is Zach Wilson, undefeated versus Jalen Hurts. So is Drew Lock, undefeated versus Jalen Hurts. So is Tommy DeVito, undefeated against Jalen Hurts. Let's see. So who else? Tyrod Taylor is 1-1 versus Jalen Hurts. Mike Glennon is undefeated versus Jalen Hurts. Woohoo! Yeah. Josh Allen is the Vinny Testaverde of the millennials. Steve, Jalen Hurts is the Tyrod Taylor and Teddy Bridgewater of the millennials. I'm done. He's a better version of Tyrod. Sills, would you talk like this as a coach? You mean like Buddy Ryan? Yeah. Hey, 50, you'll never be a player. Hey, 50, you're out of position. Hey, 50, do you know anything about playing Mike linebacker? Hey, 50, get your head out of your ass. Hey, 50, when are you going to learn how to play the Mike linebacker? Hey, 50, you'll never make it in this league. Mike, if you listen to me, there won't be a linebacker in pro football better than you. Mike, if you listen to me, you'll walk into Canton. Now go watch some film. That's Buddy Ryan talking to Mike Singletary. What, are you afraid to talk to people like that? That's why most of you hate Trump, because he talks like an owner. And old school owners talk shit like that. Because they're terrible bedside manner people. Those old school coaches talk to you like that. They don't coddle you. I mean, no one wants to be coddled when you're 1-7. No one wants to be coddled. I mean, hey, am I doing everything okay? Yeah, kitty. You talk to these guys like they're kitty cats. Are you okay? Hey, Jalen, is it all right? Are you hurt? Hey, Yelkos, Trump is unfit to be president. What about the guy in the nurse shoes? How you feel about him, Yale? How about the guy in the nurse shoes? Yeah. Hey, Yale, he may be unfit to be president, but he made $6 billion today. Holy shit. They're trying to bankrupt the guy, and the guy made $6 billion today. How does that work? And the Truth Social thing is like a stupid, I've never been on it. Okay? Yeah, hey, Barb. Joe Biden's wearing Nurse Ratched shoes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Hey, Barb, he's wearing Nurse Ratched shoes. Holy cow, is that hilarious. We're going to be blending our ideas. We're going to be putting things together, working on culture. You know, we're going to be doing all these things. And I will never go with China. Me and Kellen are going to be putting things together. Yeah. Okay. Wax on, wax off. This Eagles season will be Yuggy, not saying how. Hey, Q, I can't wait. holy cow, this would be the best thing I've ever covered in a long time. Ever since I had to worry about deflated balls, I mean, that was one of the epic seasons of all time for me. Talking about deflated nuts or balls or whatever and PSI was one of the most classic years of my life. Did he really deflate his balls to win games? I don't know. I've never heard of anything such. Okay. Hey, you want deflated balls? Brady's your guy. Maybe that's why Giselle left him, because he had deflated nuts. What do you want from me? Okay. Let's see here. Sills, what's with all what negativity? Okay. Hey, man, you know what, though? November, it's coming. Can't wait. Whoever wins the White House, kudos. I root for America. Told you that. I hate both these guys. I mean, seriously, why can't we get anybody in their 40s to be president? Please? I mean, why does everybody have to be in an old folks home or in a nursing home or has oxygen? Why can't we get someone in their 40s? I mean, please? Anyone? Duh. Right? 37-58. Forte. Perfect. Yes. I agree with the 40s comment. But back to football. Boom. Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back to football. By the way, Jason Cole will join us in a couple minutes, our resident inside NFL guy. Absolutely. So J.J. McCarthy is now flying up the draft boards. Why is he flying up the draft boards? He threw 22 touchdowns last year. And am I right when I say this? He threw 22 touchdowns in 15 games last year. And they, against Penn State, they didn't throw a pass in the second half, right? Is that right? Why is J.J. McCarthy flying up the draft board? I think the guy is a fourth-round quarterback. Okay? I don't really think he's good. When I look at J.J. McCarthy, do you think that he's better than Baker Mayfield? I don't think that McCarthy's better than Baker Mayfield. Like, here, let's do this. How many people think that J.J. McCarthy is going to have a better career than Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Brian? What are you saying, Brian? Dude, well, Will Grier might be better than J.J. McCarthy. Right. Kenny Pickett might be better. Brian, don't say it, Brian. I've already just done a little bit of politics, and I don't want don't do it, Brian. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. I hate that you're doing that. Okay. Don't do that. Danny, Hurts averaged 21 passing attempts a game in college, but that seems low. It can't be right. That sounds about right, but I thought he averaged more, Barb, when he was at Oklahoma. That sounds right for Saban offense, though. But by the way, Tua had to be more at Alabama. And because of the offensive firepower they had at wide receiver, I would definitely think that they probably had more invested in what Tua was going to be able to bring to the offense and throwing the football, because he's more accurate and he's a better passer than what Jalen was ever. Okay? I think, hey, that's a great one. You think J.J. McCarthy's going to have a better career than Tyler Huntley? man, when I see J.J. McCarthy going up the draft board, I see Zach Wilson. I mean, what's the point of paying a quarterback if you're going off potential? Quarterbacks been ripped for not producing. Here, I gave you my mock draft too here. Caleb Williams, what did he win at USC? Guy couldn't beat Utah. Did he ever get to a Pac-12 championship game? I missed that. He was okay at Oklahoma. Jaden Daniels, I like the story. Arizona State, LSU, played against some really great talented guys. Drake May, who? Mitchell Trubisky? Sam Howell? Okay, I guess. McCarthy, Michigan won a ball game where they didn't throw a pass in the second half. I don't know. I mean, Michael Penix was good at Indiana. Okay, guys, on the Super Chats, please don't donate anything on the Super Chats while we do an interview here. But I want to ask Jason Cole that question. Let's bring Jason in here. Jason, why is that position so hard to evaluate, the quarterback position, in your opinion?
The longer and the older I get, the more it's about mental aptitude than physical aptitude. And I used to, when I first started covering football and watched football, you always think, oh, this is 80, 90% physical, right? And the older you get to realize it's like 60% physical. Like you have to be able to do certain things on the field. You have to be able to throw an out. You got to be able to throw some deep patterns. You have to have, you got to be able to throw into tight spaces. You got to be super accurate. Those are physical traits. But the anticipation, the reading, the understanding, the leadership qualities, the how you are off the field, first guy in, last guy out, buying drinks for the guys, on a Wednesday night, everything. I mean, like it's the hardest position in all of sports to play because you're in the middle of the chessboard and you have, physically it's really tough and mentally it's really tough. And even when you're not playing, it's tough because everybody's looking at you all the time and they're reading you and the cues that you give off in terms of how do I handle the situation. All players react to how the quarterback is. So look, you can bring up, did a guy win in college? Okay, what did Elway win in college? Nothing. He didn't even go to a bowl game.
Maybe I think he may have been one game under 500 as a player at Stanford. Goes on to one of the legendary careers.
I was there. Okay, I was literally there. It was terrible. I mean, we were cheering to try and make a peach bowl. Okay, nothing. Dan Marino his senior year.
Mahomes at Texas Tech.
Right. And the biggest winners are guys, like the guys who was that lefty from Oklahoma years ago who won the Heisman. Josh Heupel, I think it was.
Yeah.
He won a big bowl. I mean, he was terrible, right?
Yeah.
So winning in college doesn't guarantee anything. Losing doesn't really make a difference. The only thing that I've ever been able to gather from guys' college experience, and it's not 100%, but I think guys who stick it out through bad situations, when things don't exactly go right, like Tom Brady stuck it out at Michigan, even when they went and got Drew Henson, even when they played Brian Greasy ahead of him, even when this happened, even when that happened, he stuck it out.
And he only played 1 year.
Well, he played 2, basically, but he split time with Henson one of those years.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner stuck it out and he never started, right? I mean, you just look on and down the list. Now, Troy Aikman did transfer, and you could say that, but he got hurt, and then Oklahoma, Barry Switzer, to his credit, said, look, I got to go back to what I know. I was going to change to pro set with you, but for you, but I can't now. You're gone, so I got to go back to Wishbone.
Jace, to your story, to add to it, Barry and Troy told me that when they went to Jamal Holloway, we broke his leg, actually. In the game at Memorial Stadium, we broke his leg. And so he made the call to UCLA, to Terry Donahue.
Yeah,
and
right.
he was instrumental in him going to UCLA and said, this would be a better place for you to go. Because like you just said, I'm going back to the bone.
Yeah, he's gonna do what's best, because Barry had to win games, right? I mean, everybody understood it. So, and Barry was being honest, and Troy understood, and he went to he sent him to UCLA. It was great. So what I always say is, I want a quarterback who's a mentally tough guy. He's got to be physically tough, about it. But I want guys who are mentally tough, and that's so hard to figure out. Like, I just remember about Zach Wilson. I remember Zach Wilson, and people ripped me for it. But he's getting ready for the draft. The day of the draft, what is he doing? He's doing a selfie in some suit that he bought. And I'm just like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you're here to play ball. Nobody, and everybody's like, oh, he's just doing a commercial. He's just doing this. He's just doing that. He's just, like, no, shut up and play ball. Go prove that you can do something. Mark Sanchez was doing advertisements after his first year. Like,
look at Mayfield in Cleveland, and then he turns it around because he goes and starts being a quarterback in Tampa. He gets $100 million.
Right, and just focus on the job, and that's and so yes, I like JJ McCarthy the most of these kids from a mental standpoint. But I don't take anything away from Caleb Williams because he couldn't win against Utah. It's like, yeah, well, his defense was giving up 50. I mean, did you watch the USC defense this year?
Terrible.
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
It's run and gun football, and the kid's putting up 35 to 50 points every week. And it's a 50-50 whether he's going to win, because the defense can't stop anybody. Like, Lincoln Riley is the reason that he didn't win, because Lincoln Riley doesn't know how to recruit defensive guys and doesn't know how to coach it in that situation. So don't blame Caleb Williams. I mean, if you watch the tape, like, you just go, oh my, this is amazing, right? And so you take the talent and you hope that he gets to a coach who can do with him what Andy Reid did with Mahomes, which is harness that talent, give it, make a plan for this kid for progression. I'm not saying he has to sit the first year. That's not what I'm trying to say. But make sure there's a plan in place, and hopefully more importantly, the owner has a plan in place of how we're going to make this kid better.
Jason, can I cry to you for a minute?
Why would that be different than any other time? You're from UM. You cry all the time.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Very good retort and very nicely done. Will you please explain to me why the National Football League finds it so important to hamper defensive football players today when it comes to taking the hip drop tackle out? And I have no idea how you're supposed to get somebody on the ground. Is this a result of the league concerned about the scoring going down last year? Is this since when do they care about health of players? Come on, man. They play Thursday games. They're going to add an 18th game here coming up shortly. We all know this. I mean, it's hyperbole that they think about health of the players when they don't have health care for all these guys post football.
Well, but I'll say this: the union's as much to blame on that one.
Completely, it's the worst union on the planet. It's
right.
the worst.
They don't even like that.
But why are they doing this? Why are they doing this, Jace? Why are they making it more difficult to play defense? Lawrence Taylor couldn't play today.
Lots of guys couldn't play today, and I don't understand. And here's the other thing: how are you supposed to officiate this?
Right, and here's what you've done. Follow me here. You have made this hip drop tackle rule as subjective as pass interference, which means you put more of the game in the hands of the refs because it's subjective on if he thinks that's really egregious and a 15-yard penalty or not. I mean, the more subjective officiating you have, the more you look at it where it's more in the hands of the refs. I don't want the refs to have that much control of a game. Like the NBA with 5 or 6 fouls. A ref shouldn't dictate taking Shaq off the floor. That to me, you're influencing the end of a ball game because of officiating. I don't want that in the NFL. And now you're trying to legislate that.
And you're also adding another thing that people will argue over. Like that should be called. Is it fixed because he wouldn't call that? Like enough, enough. I don't understand. Here's the problem. Owners in the league office create rules for a game that they don't even play
or have played.
Right. Like none of them understand this. None of them understand. Like instead of going to the players and saying, okay, players, what do you want in your rules for hip drop or for tackling, things like that? You guys come up with it. And when you guys come up with it, the only thing that we're asking for is we want a release from the burden on any injuries pertaining to the way that you're choosing to play. Like it's always the one about, players saying, I'd rather be hit high and potentially take a head hit than take a knee injury, right?
Correct. Me too.
Okay. All right. If that's the way that you choose to play, okay, then you have to say, I get relieved of the burden of CTE lawsuits. Okay, you have to say that back to them. All right, and that's what I would ask for. I will let you play the way that you want to play, but
why can't I have it both ways?
Exactly. That's said well by a player. Okay.
Why can't I have my head protected and my knees protected?
Well, I don't know how you get both. I mean, maybe then what's the striking area? Again, here's my thing.
That's my point. What is it?
Right. But what I'm saying to you is I'm going to allow you to set the rules. I will allow coaches and players to get together and set the rules for how they want to play the game. But understand is, if I'm allowing you to play the game this way and you're choosing that this is the way you want to play, you have to relieve me of the responsibility of the lawsuits that are going to come out of how you choose to play. That's all. That's what I would say as an owner. I'm not dictating how you play. All right. But I will dictate that I want the relief of the burden. That's the danger that comes in here, because that's why the owners take control of the game, because it costs them money when they don't take control of the game, because they get sued, and that's actually happened.
But Jason, I think you're looking at it like they care. To me, I think they cared about
they cared about CTE. They cared about those lawsuits a lot.
Hold on. Yeah, they cared about paying. I think they care more about this than the health of the players. That I don't want a Super Bowl or an NFC Championship game with Marcus Mariota versus Zach Wilson in the Super Bowl, and I want to have my star quarterback $50 million toy as a centerpiece because that creates more ratings. Listen, I think it's more about they don't want backup quarterbacks in marquee games.
But how many times has the Super Bowl really been determined by backup quarterbacks? There's a few. Nick Foles, obviously, for the Philly audience.
Hostetler.
Right? Hostetler is another one. I'm sure we can come up with a few others. Okay, but usually on the other side of that is still a star quarterback, and it's still a marquee matchup, and it's still usually a great storyline, because even like Hostetler became a storyline. Came out of nowhere, right? Nick Foles became a storyline. There was a book written about him. There's, it goes on and on and on, where the backup becomes a really good story, and you're never really going to have a Super Bowl between two schmucks. It's not going to happen. Zach Wilson is not going up against, Tyler Huntley in the Super Bowl. It's not happening. They're not getting there, right? So let go of that concern. I think that the owners are worried about, injuries. They're worried about some long-term stuff.
Lawsuits.
They're worried about lawsuits. They're worried about, are people going to keep watching the game? All those things. I understand that. But there should be a respect to the guys who play the game to say, okay, guys, you come up with certain playing rules. What can you tolerate? And I know that they do talk to the players, but I think they talk to the players. They don't listen to the players.
Let me ask you about the Bears. And you look at what the influence that Vegas is saying now that Kirk Cousins is going to have in Atlanta. They're saying 10.5 wins for the Falcons because of the division being so crappy. And then you look at the Bears positioning it for what you were talking about with Caleb. You got DJ Moore now and you get Keenan Allen. They're at, and then you put DeAndre Swift in there, who had a really nice year with the Eagles last season, over 1,300 total yards. Are you expecting things from the Packers and Bears? Because really, if you look at it, Jason, the NFC is not really deep this coming season. You got potentially the Eagles, you got the 49ers, you got the Cowboys. Minnesota doesn't have, they're a headless horseman with no quarterback right now. Detroit could be somebody still. Will they take a step back? I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be very deep on that side of the aisle when it comes to the NFC.
Like, if you're asking me, are the Bears going to make this big leap into playoff contention?
They did win. Would they win 7 games last year? They weren't horrible.
Yeah, they played respectable football given the fact that Justin Fields was out. And they playing some guy whose dad is a former pro wrestler with a bunch of talent, or whatever it was, right? Like, look, they were okay. Does Caleb Williams vault them to 11 wins and being a serious contender in year one? No, I don't think that that's true.
You don't think he adds 3 wins?
I think he adds 3 wins, but there's making the playoffs, and then there's being a contender, and you know the difference, right? Making the playoffs is one thing. Becoming a truly serious contender, not quite there. And if they regressed a little bit, I wouldn't worry, because again, I'm about what's the quality of the football that you're playing. And again, I go back to Jimmy Johnson, you're 1 and 2 in Dallas, right? There was we're going to burn the house down, tear it down to the studs, rebuild the whole thing. But we're still going to play hard in that first year and see who really wants to be part of this.
8 wins in 2 years.
And then, and then come back the next year and take a big jump, right? But it's the quality.
Went from 1 and 15 to 7 and 9, and then the year after that, they went on to win those Super Bowls.
Yeah. Well, there was a third year. They played. They were 1 and done 1 year.
Oh, you're right. That's right. He was there 5 years. You're right. He had a third year where they right.
They made the playoffs. I can't remember who they lost to, but they lost in the playoffs. And so
Detroit.
It might have been with Wayne Fontes coaching.
Yeah, they lost to Detroit.
Right. So all I'm saying is I'm always more concerned about what's the quality of the football that you're playing, right? How does it look like, okay, I can see this becoming something great. I can see this being consistent. Because last year when we watched Philly in the first 9 games of the season, there were times where, okay, they look like they can dictate in certain games. And I was very confident in how they were playing. And then all of a sudden, you saw wear and tear creeping in. You saw inconsistency. You saw the defense starting to fall apart. You saw games getting a little out of control, and they still came back and won them. But you knew there was danger around the bend. And when it started to really happen, nobody out of Philly was truly surprised when it started to fall apart, at least among the people who were really truly watching. So there's a quality of football. You hope that Caleb Williams goes there and in year one goes from 7 wins to 10 wins. They can do that. I don't know that there's a guarantee of that.
Finally here, do you think Saquon Barkley has the same impact on the Eagle offense that McCaffrey had on the 49er offense?
No, Saquon's really good, but he's not the same kind of. McCaffrey's a special
I agree.
route. McCaffrey is a wide receiver disguised as a running back.
He's a modern day Roger Craig.
A little different, but the sum total is about which the same thing. I mean, look, McCaffrey does things getting downfield that other people don't do, and Saquon is a little bit more of a freak of nature and strong and can spin and then can break some tackles. There's no question he's a stronger player than Christian McCaffrey. Christian does it more with. He definitely knows where he's going. He knows how to get open. He knows how to do this. He can do some spins. He can do some, interesting stuff. But he's not going to overpower tacklers. That's not his game. He's not going to run through people from time to time. And Saquon can do that a little bit. They're similar enough. Throw Saquon the ball a lot more, and you're going to get a lot of production in the passing game, and that helps a lot. I think he's a better receiver than any combination of guys that they had last year coming out of the backfield, and that's important. But he's not McCaffrey in that overall package, that overall set of tools.
Absolutely. Jason, awesome stuff, my friend. I'll tell you, the offseason has absolutely been awesome for the NFL. Draft is right around the corner. We're a couple weeks out from that thing. I can't wait.
I got a question for you, and you
Sure.
ponder this. Tell me. If the NFL had a player do what Shohei Ohtani just did, and I'm not saying he's guilty of it, but involved in something the way that he's involved in something, what happens? Like a guy who's on that level.
Depends who it is.
The
Difference with the Major League Baseball and the NFL, if that's Patrick Mahomes, nothing.
Yeah.
If
they're not. I'm not talking
Bob
about the
Mahomes,
league, but I'm
everything.
talking about just if it's Patrick Mahomes, there's
It'll
a lot
be handled
of
behind the scenes if it's Mahomes. If it's public, if it's someone else, Jason, they'll use it as a billboard for all the rest of the players to see. This is what happens to you. You're barred for life.
Yeah, but Ohtani's not going anywhere because they can't afford to give.
He's a world superstar. That's why nothing's going to happen. He's the biggest
athlete in the world right now.
Absolutely. I think it all matters who you are in a case like that. If that was like the Dodgers' 25th guy on the bench, the 24th guy on the bench, he's publicly flogged.
Right. And yes, I understand that. But I'm just saying, if the NFL had to deal with a player, what is the public fallout from a major star in the NFL getting tarnished, just stained by
they suspended Karras and Horning in the past for that.
But the game was not as big.
Hall of Fame guys.
Yeah, they're right. But those are not even, those guys are not even
major name guys.
Not even then. I mean, the game is so much bigger now. The concern over gambling is so much bigger that I just really wonder what it would be like. All right, I'll let you go.
All right, man. Thanks, Jace.
Anytime, dude. Be good.
You got it. That's my friend Jason Cole. All right. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans, were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Bondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at JAKIB. At JAKIB we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give JAKIB a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Mike Quick tomorrow. You guys like Mike Quick? Had to do some fancy talking to Mike. Xander got a little bit upset with me because I said something on Twitter. But it's all good now. You know you're doing it right when you get a call from one of your guests and people go, man, who'd you piss off, Big Sills? I don't know. Nothing personal. Okay. He's like, who'd you call a librarian? Oh. And the Yachtsman. I like the Yachtsman. He's actually a coxman, Jeffrey Lurie. You know the guy that says rowing the boat when you're crewing? You guys know what crewing is? You know, when you're like, you're rowing, like an Olympic sport, the guy in the front's a coxman. That's who Jeffrey Lurie is. He's the ultimate coxman. Row, 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 row. Sills, would you play for the Eagles today? Absolutely. Wait, whoa. Cosmo, if I was drafted by them, yes. If I was a free agent, I don't know. How he treats his free agents a little different than he does his golden gooses that he drafts. So if I was drafted, yes. Okay. I have to say the Yachtsman. Hey, Slagger. Hey, you got to admit it, man. Slagger. Big Sills makes big waves. Thank you. Yes. Big Sills, big waves. Hey, Slagger, right? Hey, man, I get so upset I had to buy a 70-foot yacht. This guy sounds like Xander. Row, row, row. Row, row. Jeffrey Lurie, the ultimate coxman. All right. Oh, Madon. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. Thank all you guys. By the way, don't forget, JAKIB Sports, our great viewers and subscribers, please log on, sign up, Underdog Fantasy. They match you all the way up to $100. Very simple on that. And don't forget also the promo code is WIN. Till tomorrow, we shall see you on the flip side.